Hey, cheers, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Comic Shop Conversations. Thank you all for being here tonight. Let's just get right into it. Let's just get started with introducing my wonderful panel this evening and my co-hosts, Joshua McDonald. What's up, man? So we watched Daredevil episode 7 this week, and this is the one that was episode 8.
Yeah.
This was the one that was supposed to bring it home, what we were waiting for this whole time. Initial thoughts, what do you think it delivered?
I thought it was a solid. It felt like an actual TV episode.
Really? Okay. All
You
right.
didn't think it felt like an actual episode of television?
I mean, it was definitely structured that way,
Yeah.
but it felt like it should have been episode 2 of a series.
I mean, in a lot of ways, it kind of is episode 2 of the series.
Yeah, like if you take out episode,
yeah,
100%. If you take out all the 6 episodes that the other creators did, yeah, this is pretty much episode 2. So, but yeah, anything else going on with you, brother? Anything new or interesting?
No, just trying to get stuff planned for the channel. We're launching graphic content next week, so I'll be reviewing some Drewski's books, and then we'll get that going as a regular monthly series. So excited for that.
Hell yeah. And you're about to release the X-Men film you guys just did?
Yeah, Monday, the first Monday of May, that'll drop. So that's been going back and forth with different copyright disputes because fun times. Yeah, first it was Disney, and I fought with that for like 3 weeks and then got it cleared. And then I was like, sweet, scheduled it, thought I was good. And I think it was like a day or two before it was supposed to actually air. It got another copyright for music, of all things. And that put it, and the music was coming from the film, because there's no music in any of our stuff. But that went the full 30 days without them ever making a decision, so it automatically got cleared after that. But I was like, dude.
And they, you know that they do that just to like the only reason they do that is to make you wait 30 days so that it, you know, especially if it's like a hot topic and you're trying to release your video like on time, and they're like, no.
Yeah, but you know what? All of my X-Men stuff, like, it gets the worst view counts.
Really? Like Fox X-Men?
Well, I mean, so out of all the Marvelous Mondays, X-Men First Class is by far the least viewed. Like, by far. And then for our graphic novel club, God Loves Man Kills is by far our least viewed.
Wow.
So I was like,
well, I mean, that book does kind of suck, so. I'm kidding.
What a
hoe. But yeah, Heavy D, what's been going on with you, man? How was your week?
Week's been busy. It's been very productive. Had some big creative meetings earlier today with Steve, Aaron, a few others about some of the projects we got coming up. Getting everything lined up and ready for the summer. Getting things ready for Vegas, getting things ready for Terrificon, getting things possibly ready for San Diego. Yeah, it's going to be a big summer, and as well as things for Dallas. Forgot. Yeah,
about to say
Dallas. Yeah. Hell yeah, man! That sounds awesome. Does Terrificon? Have you checked out the like the guests that are going to be at Terrificon? Because I remember, what was it, like a year ago or 2 years ago, where you're looking at the guests at Terrificon, and it was like a true and proper comic con. Like all the guests were comic book creators.
Yeah, so it's still kind of early, but yeah, they have announced some names, like the Dodsons are going to be there. I'm not crazy about this series, but I know there are a lot of fans for it. The Elf Quest creators, they're going to be there. Yeah, I don't get it. Kevin Eastman's going to be there. Mark Silvestri and several others. Oh, and what's his name? Strangers in Paradise. He's going to be there. That creative. Okay. But yeah, that's just the creatives so far. But there's going to be more.
Nice,
because
man.
the thing is, a lot of those creatives who made their money back in the 80s and 90s, a lot of them retired in Connecticut or in the East Coast, so it's just down the street for them.
Yeah, they're just like, I'm chilling. Why not go and make some extra money? So
yeah, go to casino. Why not? Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. And then last but not least, Kyle, not Kevin, coming to us from an undisclosed location.
Yeah, I can't tell you where I'm at, but
Ooh.
yeah, but I'm having fun.
Well,
That's all that matters.
that's all that matters. How was the first day of the undisclosed event that you were at?
Oh, it's a scene. Let me tell you.
It's a scene, man.
Yeah, but no, I am at C2E2 currently.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were at the furry convention.
That's
dang
across
it.
the street. I'm
Oh,
going there
okay.
later. After this stream, I'm headed there.
Oh,
Sounds
good.
about right.
Yeah, I got to give it time to start popping off a little bit before I show up.
Popping off like popping Polly. That's for sure.
Indeed. I hope he's there.
Yeah, you know, he's there. Wait, what did we determine who was worse, furries or bronies? Did we say bronies were worse?
What's a brony?
Oh, no.
I had to ask too. And give you shit. It's because we're normal
Okay.
people that don't like
Yeah.
sick shit. But bronies are adult men that like My Little Pony.
Oh God.
Potentially
Yeah.
99% positively for pedo reasons. So
Wow.
Yeah.
That tracks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that tracks.
Whereas
I feel like
furries most definitely do engage in sexual activity. So there's that.
and I was about to say the furry community, they act all innocent and like, no, we just like the fun costumes. And it's like, no, but you guys
Bullshit.
like F each other in those things. And it's
I
like,
saw The
yeah.
Shining. No, I know what that's all about.
Yeah, exactly. So well, glad to hear that it was a first, success, or that your first day at C2E2 was successful, and that'll be a cool show. So I'm glad that you're doing that this weekend.
Yeah.
We've got Cajun says, "Hey guys, Kyle got a notification." Oh, he's saying, "Hey guys, Kyle, I got a notification that my book got shipped today and expected to arrive Monday." Sorry, Cajun. Not only can I not understand you in real life, but I can't even understand.
They're called commas, Cajun. All right.
Come on, man. You can use them. There's no harm, no foul. But
no, thanks, Cajun. I appreciate it, man. Hopefully you like it.
Hell yeah. And thanks for the support, Cajun. We really appreciate it. Cajun, another member of the channel. And then we've got Kaiser Jose, who says, "Sup, nerds? Currently on my way to Chicago for C2E2. Nice.
Sweet. Stop by the booth. Say hi.
I was gonna say, Kaiser, go give Kyle some shit, man.
Please.
Undercut his book. So if Kyle's like, "Oh yeah, I'm selling my book for $10," be like, "I'll give you $8."
Yeah. And I'll be like, fine, I'll take it.
You got to barter. That's what conventions are all about. Bartering, baby.
There's no room to move on pasta. Come on.
Yeah. We've also got Jack Frost in the chat who goes, "You gays are gay." Well, yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, when we look at everyone's what would you call it? I guess they're the little quirks and characteristics. I think the fact that I'm in California definitely makes me the gayest out of everyone, just by nature of location. So I think we've said that before, but because I'm in California, I'm getting ready for the sweet, sweet summer. I'm right by the beach. I'm about to go down and get a nice tan. But in order for me to do that, I gotta have the best summer gear you can think of. And what better than to get the Rippaverse Summer Collection, boys? Look at this. Y'all seen this?
Tell me you're retarded without telling me you're retarded.
Those shorts. What the fuck is that?
Dress cool while it's hot. Oh, I will. So the summer collection, their first line of summer apparel, you can choose from one of the many designs listed here, like Sally Rodell, who's Yaira, or ISOM shirt that says Catch Street. That's
What
cool.
does that mean? Catch Street?
I don't know what the fuck that means.
That's hip and cool, man. What are you talking about? You don't know that jive talking?
Catch Street.
It's like if I were to throw you into the street, like in a fight, catch street.
So instead of being like, yo, catch these hands, you about to catch street?
Yeah, dude. You see, you speak the language.
Yeah,
so.
well, it's because I have a lot of friends with Down syndrome. That's why.
And then you've got Sal, Sol, Brax, and oh yeah, Sol, because he's Solari.
What?
Solari, Brax, and Val from Alpha Core.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then of course the Rippaverse shorts TM. Man, that Bloodruth is rough.
Yeah. You know what's actually really bad about this line is it's bad. Like we've seen the people at these meetups, right? We'll probably see them again this year because we'll probably be at a meetup if they have a meetup. But it's going to be the people actually wearing these. You know, it's bad enough when you don't wear deodorant and you have some type of coverage covering it, but now that it's going to be like open air.
Yeah, no, that's not good.
Get away with this ISOM right here.
Hey, look, it's ISOM catching street.
That's right. He's catching street here. Look at that.
Looks like he's humping the street.
No, he's catching it. Cajun says Max needs to get some Rippaverse silkies. Ooh. Now that sounds hot.
I mean,
I'd wear those in a heartbeat.
I can make it happen.
Now let's see. The Rippaverse summer collection, it didn't have like a link to the actual items. So I need to. Okay, so here are the actual. I know. Don't get me started.
What?
The website is. The website is a little wild. Okay, so just so I'm not retarded. Well, I know I'm a little bit retarded, but just so I'm not insane. Okay, so here's our first ever line of summer apparel. Dress cool while it's hot campaigns. I don't see an actual link to click. Okay, so here's an Alpha Core link. But it doesn't have the link to the actual... Like, shouldn't this say Rippaverse Summer Tank Tops? And then I can click...
Or, like, there should be a shop now. Vocal and
shop
interactive.
now?
Yeah, there should be, like, a shop now. I mean...
No.
Go back up to the top. Does it let you click on the image? Nope.
No. Nope.
Somebody call Kara and just let her know. There needs to be a fucking link on the page announcing the new clothing line.
Yeah.
God.
So I'm going to go to a different tab because I can't actually go through the article to get to the shorts.
Wow.
But the good thing is that the shorts are $40.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Yeah, that is.
Or it was $10. So pick your poison.
Yes. Thank you, Drew. See, that's what I was gonna say. Realistically, it's just $10, guys. You're just doing it, 4 times. It's not that big of a deal. So, but I do want to acknowledge this artwork.
That is awful.
Yeah.
This is rough.
Like, that looks like a kid drew that.
Well, it's Kanan, or wasn't it Kanan, or whatever?
That can't be Kanan White.
No,
no way.
No.
Zoom,
this isn't Kanan.
Let's admire it for a little bit, and then we can zoom back out and look at it. But it said something about Kanan in the.
This looks like this. Who was it Carlos? There was a guy who did the initial art book, the $75 initial art book.
You have it. Why don't you look it up?
Don't remind me. Yeah, I should just have that on hand, like as a guidebook.
Always.
But this is
That
kind of what
Solari guy looks like J. Jonah Jameson.
it does, huh? Just without the stash.
Yeah, just like a fucking old man.
And I'm sorry, but do you need a description like this for shorts? That's a lot.
Yes.
Yes, you do.
Yeah, it's Kanan's art.
No.
Kanan's simple but effective design on the right leg of shorts.
It's simple, all right.
Wow. Simple Jack.
Yeah.
Oh man, Rippaverse fans are faithful in their product offering requests, having been asking for warm weather apparel for a good while now. Ask and you shall receive. Keeping cool in a scorcher is about more than wearing a good tank top instead of a hoodie. Heavy long pants won't do you any favors either. Okay, thanks for letting me know.
Sure.
To give your fans a fighting chance against the heat while doing it in style, we're pleased to offer the Rippaverse shorts, blah, blah, blah. Nice. So my only problem is that they only go up to 2XL, and my man, we're going to need some 3 and 4Xers here.
For you or for his fans?
I mean, for anyone who's looking to wear these.
Okay.
No, I am not. I am not.
I know you're not.
I was about to say, like,
I want to see that artwork stretched out on a 4XL.
Oh God!
Everyone's face is.
What's the? Does it say what the inseam is? Like, I mean, look. Okay, look. I know I'm the gay one here, right? But those aren't even on trend.
Yeah, if they were on trend, they'd be a little bit shorter cut, right?
Yeah, these look like. This looks like something. Look, I mean this in the nicest way. I buy basics from Walmart. I'm not, so this isn't a diss. But this looks like some type of graphic tee or graphic short you would get from Walmart that you think is badass. And it's just not.
Yeah, and just looking at the material, like I can definitely see that. Yeah, they just look like regular gym shorts that you buy at like a Walmart or a Target or something, right?
Like I bet this probably cost him maybe $6 a pop to make, if that.
Well, how much did it cost to make each comic? Like,
who knows?
Drew,
Depends on how many you print?
Yeah, that's a good point. Do you guys do y'all know in terms of like the production cost for a comic? I remember Ethan Van Sciver once saying that. Oh, sorry.
It just really all comes down to the paper quality, how many pages are involved. In every printer, the average comic, can cost around probably I think it's like $2 to print. It's right around there. I think
that low.
It's like $2 or $3 a comic.
So
again, depending on your print run.
So the print run and how many pages his books are, which are close to 60 pages each. I mean, you gotta be thinking he's probably paying close to probably $6-7 a book, maybe, if he's lucky.
Okay.
Maybe he's worked out a deal for $5. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I bet you he's printing less books with each new line that he brings out. Like, we know that because he's selling less. So it's probably costing him more now than it used to.
Right, and ISOM 3 is like, what, 144 pages?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that really is like a graphic novel.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to navigate the store here because I'm trying to find the tank tops.
God, fucking shirt business.
Here we go. There we go. All right. Now we're talking.
There
Let's
we go.
Cat Street. I saw him tank top.
Do those paragraphs go into what it actually means to catch street?
The ISOM Cat Street tank top is made with 100% combined ring spun cotton. No, it doesn't look like it. Since the launch of ISOM number 2 in the summer 2023. But yeah, it just feels odd because I've never heard ISOM say Cat Street, right?
Well, they're probably trying to make it a thing now. Watch it be in the third book, and he's gonna try to be like, "Oh, that's the catchphrase. Oh yeah, that you finally came up with." And also, what's up with this? Okay, I mean that makes this start of this paragraph is a little better than this last one. The summer heat makes rocking the Rippaverse hoodie a less than ideal clothing choice for our fans. Okay, fine. The last one was warm weather means the need for warm weather clothes. Like, no shit, Sherlock.
I was like, wait a second.
Fuck off.
Yeah, it's like, don't wear hoodies, wear a tank top. And I was like, maybe, yeah.
Whoa, time out. Go to the third paragraph and read that first sentence.
Oh boy. Rippaverse fans have become accustomed to high quality from us, and our goal forever remains to maintain that trust and expectation. So, high quality, does that mean live action trailers as well?
Of course.
Is that the type of high quality material that we're getting with the tank top? I mean, the art on these is cool. I like the art on these, but I just don't get, why do they have her name? Like her actual
Are those all
name?
Yaira's on there? Does she
Yes,
Yaira
it's
on that
multiple
shirt
Yairas.
4 times?
They should do like a, you know, like the 90s shirts, how it like multiple different iterations of like a Wolverine. It'd be like a Berserker Brown suit Wolverine and a Weapon X Wolverine. Maybe that's what they're trying to do.
But Wolverine's cool, and this character sucks.
Yeah. Also, Wolverine had been around for what, like 30-something years by the 90s?
Yeah, yeah.
This has been around for one book.
Hey, but she's got her own statue.
Yeah.
So, for $500. Yeah. But yeah, no, I just, you know, like I said, as here in California, as it begins to get a little bit hotter, as we start to crank up the heat, I figured I'd show off some of the summer collection. Here's that Yaira statue.
I mean, the statue looks good. His statues, well, the Yaira statue looks good. His Isom statue looks, I don't know why he's pole dancing, but okay.
Wait. Copyright Young Isom. Okay, get it right, please.
Correct.
Oh, pardon. Young Isom is pole dancing.
It's also tough because this is only 1/6 scale. So it's like, it's not, it doesn't have the grandiose of maybe a quarter scale. But a quarter scale goes for $500.
Yeah.
Like the Daredevil I have back here was like $450 or $490.
I'm not saying that it's not overpriced. I'm just commenting on the fact that based on the look and quality of everything else we've seen come from Rippaverse,
yes,
this actually looks good. Like,
it does.
If I had any inkling of liking the character because of the books, like I would almost, well, I wouldn't drop $400 and something for that statue, but I would be like, dang, if it were cheaper, I'd get it. It's a good looking It's a good looking statue.
It is. The pose is great. I love the ice kind of coming across, and the uniform. I like it. You know.
Yeah. Like that's actually a good character design. I can't say that much for the others, but I think Yaira, if there was any character that would ever survive in, you know, the big two superhero comics, Yaira is probably that one character.
The unfortunate thing is they kind of ruined that whenever they did the live action trailer, and then just all notion of like what she could potentially be just like was lost.
See, this is where they made the mistake. They should have made a t-shirt that says "You took that like a chomp." Would have sold like gangbusters.
Oh man. I mean, maybe the only other one that I could think, what was another good catchphrase from her? Let's see.
Adopt or die. Thanks for the heads up. Sweet dreams, chilled. You took that like a chomp. It was meant to be a death blow.
Sweet dreams chilled.
Sweet dreams chilled would have been a good ice pun.
That would be a good tank top, right? For cooling off.
Yeah, perfect. I mean, that should have ultimately been the decision here.
Mm.
Dang. We need to talk to the marketing team.
Put it on the back.
Sweet dreams chilled.
Yeah.
So that when you're walking away from someone,
Mm-hmm.
you're like, yeah, sweet dreams.
Sweet dreams.
Speaking of dreams, this has been haunting my dreams for the past week because I'm not sure what to think about it. Basically, on the old X or the old Twit-twats, whichever one you prefer, the profile the J Ryan, excuse me, the Art and Times of J Ryan posted this. So this was, April 4th. So this is a few days ago. And he says, I don't often do this, but I'm going to just this once. Eric July and John Malin. Pretty simple fix that took about 10 minutes. Just quick and dirty perspective fix. Arms should clearly extend past the leg closest to the viewer camera. Pump up the guns and force the perspective a bit. These are comic books. They should be dynamic and exciting. No need to thank me. LOL. Rippaverse Art and Comics. So here's the before, and here's the after.
Wow.
And he signed it here and then just put LOL. So, this image alone has sparked some of the most heated debates in the past month I've seen. Like, there have been heated debates.
What is there to debate? What is there to debate about this? It's better.
Yeah.
Okay, so Drew, like first initial impressions. What do you think, Drew?
Yeah, the perspective on the before, it's terrible. I mean, if Aurelio had sent that to me, or if I had a cover artist had been like, hey, I think the hands are kind of off. I think we got to fix this just a tad. They're glaringly not in perspective, and they got to be fixed. And look, it's just, and not just that, it's more dynamic. It's more bold. It pops out more within the after.
I think the weird thing is that the first image is technically, realistically in perspective. Because like if I were to take a photo of her arms would be farther back and they would look a little shorter, right?
No.
But still,
No?
well, yeah, I think Josh is right. But at the same time, this is a comic book. If you want something from a picture, go take a picture. Things
Right.
are going to be, slightly askew. Different artists have different options. And the after, it's beautiful. It's what you want in a comic book. It's going to pop out. It's going to be dynamic. It's going to be different. And I appreciate that as opposed to the before. The before is just blah. Here you go.
It does look like the
the
forearm has kind of been put like it's just like this.
It's like it looks like she has nubs. It looks like her nubs have guns.
Yeah, just of little T-Rex arms.
And that's why I said no. Even about the picture thing, you would still see the extension of the arm. And Drew's right. If you're in that pose, your arm is going to be extended past your leg. And it very clearly is not in that first picture. It looks like she's like pulling a let me shoot you with my strong hand.
My strong hand. my germs. My germs. And he's like sticking his hand in all the pies. So like I said, there's a lot of stuff going on in politics right now with tariffs and blah, blah. I saw more back and forth on this image alone than I have on the tariff issue right now on X, which is, saying something. But the other thing that I saw a lot of people talking about was like, this is Kanan White's art, but they clearly were upset about the leg as well. They were saying like the leg looks like rubber, or the leg is way too big, or it's not like formed.
Are these the same jackasses that complain about J. Scott Campbell and how his ladies don't have an anatomy in their bodies? And
no, I don't think so. I think these are just regular fans.
Look, I think people need to understand these are comic books, and artists have different interpretations of human anatomy. It's their signature, more or less. How to do things. Like I said, if you want a picture, go take a fucking picture. Supposed to be bold, dynamic, and spark imagination, gets you excited. That's what the after image does. The before is just playing it safe, like a picture, and I don't get excited by the before image.
Well, also, the fact that you have such a drastic difference just by changing the arms and the guns and nothing else.
Yeah.
Like,
and that really is, because you even see the gun actually like kind of popping outside of the page frame, which also kind of adds that 3-dimensional look of where she's like really reaching out towards you, which I think looks pretty badass.
Yeah, this is stuff that Neil Adams and others have been doing for the last we're doing for the last 50 years.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just making it exciting, and I am honestly, legitimately shocked Kanan White did that before, because Kanan knows better. I mean, that's not a good piece.
Yeah, and I don't know. Now we'll get down to the nitty gritty as well, because Kanan responded to this, Eric responded to this, and multiple different fans responded to this as well. But
so this is all new to me. I am not, like you guys know, I'm not on Twitter, so this is all new to me.
Which is why I figured it'd be perfect for us to go over, because it did spark so much conversation. I was like, let's talk about it, right? I'm genuinely curious what you guys have to say.
Yeah, before you show their responses, I just want to point out this person was not attacking, was literally coming in with just constructive, like, hey, this simple thing can make it way better.
Yeah, it's true. And honestly, I believe if Aaron had seen this, he would have said the same things. He would have done the same thing.
And I'm curious to see if Eric is defensive and butthurt in his response.
So you're a CEO of a company, right? You're the owner, operator, businessman of your company. Someone sends you this over Twitter or X. What is your response? My response, I'm either ignoring it and just going, hey, cool, someone's interacting with our stuff, great. And I don't say a word.
No.
Or I comment and I go, this is awesome. Thank you so much. Hope you enjoy Yaira #2 or whatever bullshit book is coming out next.
Yes, part 1.
That's part 1. Okay, finish my thought then. Finish part 2. Finish the rest of that.
Part 2 is DM me.
Okay. But what if I, as the CEO or owner or whatever, what if I genuinely don't like the redraw?
Then you're retarded.
Then I guess we should just But
here's the deal. Like, this is where you get into things like, art is subjective, right? But this isn't a matter of like style. This is a matter of like what logically makes sense, like.
And yeah,
not even.
Sorry,
this person had to have caught this, realized it right away, took some time to be like, let me just do this one quick fix. And if say it's like, hey, you know what? Let's get you in to I'll pay you to take passes on these books and just make some artistic notes.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like, if you did actually really like what this person had done, I think it'd be cool to kind of say, hey, would you like to come help us and like, right? But
that's funny you mention it. Say that because hey, that's what Rob Liefeld did back in the 90s. Was like Eric Stevenson and others, when Eric and others had said like, hey, your stories, you have great stuff here, but like you should do this, you should do that, you should do this. And he was like, oh, these great ideas. Why don't you come work for me? Why don't you come do this for me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, oh, sorry, Drew, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It shows you just how open and smart Rob was, to bring on smart people to help him out. When he called out on, like, I guess through constructive criticism over some of the failings in his books at the time.
Totally. And I'm sure that there are some criticisms where you have to like discern whether or not it's like actually going to benefit the book or not, to where you can go like, that's not really that great of criticism. But I appreciate the thought anyway. But with this, I do think that there is a genuine conversation to be had to say, man, that actually really does look more dynamic and more fun and more comic book, right?
Yes.
More engaging. So JK says, the leg bothers me, doesn't look like it's connected to the body.
Look, honestly, a leg like that, the way it's done, this is, I swear I've seen Greg Land or Brian Hitch do this exact pose before. I know they have. And
it definitely looks like a Black Widow pose.
Yes. Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
Or a black cat.
Yeah, there's a way you could probably angle the leg a little bit, like almost if she was like angling and get out, like if it were just angled a little bit towards us, the viewer.
You know what it is? I think she needs to be in midair. I think one leg needs. Oh, I hit my microphone. I think one leg needs to be like the bent leg needs to be up, like she's launching herself from the car and going like shooting her guns. But she needs to be almost in midair with the leg that's closest to us is almost kicking herself off from the car, something like that. I don't know. But I'm
looking this. I'm doing some aggressive research right now.
Ooh,
I swear there's been a cover similar to this. I'm looking it up.
So, well, you do some extensive.
Saw his fucking response. Fuck off.
Wait. So before, as Drew is doing some research and before we get to Eric's response, Kyle, did you see this picture?
I don't think so. But again, it's somebody's wanting to come in here and say, look, I think we can do this better, and here's a better version. And honestly, I think they should have added, you're right, Max, as far as you should add some shell casings and some of the guns actually being fired. Add some 90s flair to this. I think that would definitely help this a lot.
That'd be cool.
Is this a cover? Is this a panel? Like, what is this?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question. We're actually about to get to that as well. So
okay.
we'll answer that question. So I've been edging y'all. What in fact did Eric say about this post? They got so many people all up in arms. So after the Jay Ryan posted this, he goes, pretty simple fix, just quick perspective fix. Arms should be clearly past the legs. Pump the guns up, force the perspective a bit. These are comic books. They should be dynamic and exciting. No need to thank me. Eric's response, this isn't a comic book.
Wait,
bro, what? So it got 87 likes. And so Jay Ryan says, it's comic book art. Stop being disingenuous. Eric's response says, it's a comic book character. This piece is not for a book. It's not even a cover for a book. Jay says, what does that change about the actual art?
Good question.
That's a great question. Eric says, and this one blows my mind. So I'm genuinely curious to hear what you guys say about this. He says, well, a lot. You said it was comic books. The approach and how something is drawn differs depending on what the medium it's for. Cover, sequential, pinup, warm-up, fan art, etc.
I hate this motherfucker. I can't.
Okay, so what is this piece for? Is it just a promo piece? What is it? If Eric is saying it's not for a book, not even a cover, what is it for?
It still doesn't change the fact.
No, it doesn't change.
Right. It's like sucks.
Yeah.
And that's what perplexes me, because like when I think of a medium, I think of comic books as a medium, I think of film as a medium, I think of television as a medium. Like those are different mediums. Whereas a cover art, sequential art, pinup art, fan art, those aren't different mediums. Those are different different parts of the medium, right? Like different ways of engaging with the medium, or are they all mediums themselves? I don't know, but
different ways of advertising the medium, and that's the way it is a very, very weak argument, regardless, from Eric.
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, it's still a visual image, right? Like whether it's pinup or a cover or whatever. Like in those things, you might change the aesthetic and the storytelling aspects of it. But something like depth perception doesn't change just because it's a cover versus a pinup versus interior art. Like, and to try to make that argument, this is why people think you're fucking retarded, Eric, because you clearly don't know what you're doing. And you have people coming in, I'm going to use the word, in good faith, giving you constructive criticism, not being asshats, not being little shitholes like I would be to your face, even because I really don't fucking care at this point. And you come and act like a fucking 4-year-old. Like, dude, just it's good advice.
Yeah, and to me, it seems so wild. Number one, like I said earlier, if I'm Eric, I may not even respond to this guy. Like if I didn't like it, why is Eric if Eric truly is the Black Stan Lee, why are you responding?
He's not.
He's not. But I'm just saying, if that's what he thinks he is and what everyone keeps calling him, why is he responding to Twitter, like a Twitter post that has a couple hundred likes on it? Like that, what is that doing for his own image other than hurting his own brand?
Eric July is the Leroy Jenkins of comics publishing.
He's the Leroy from Daredevil. Okay, how so?
I said he's the Leroy Jenkins of comics publishing. Mr. like victim, I don't understand why people hate me. Like, I don't know. You're committing all these crimes, you dumbass. And yes, this is a crime right here. This is absolutely a crime.
Yeah, this cover sequential pinup, that comment made me go like, I don't know if that's true at all. Because as we mentioned, art is art. And if you are doing it within the comic book medium, then whether it is a panel, a pinup, sequential art, or a cover, it should be engaging. It should be fun. The perspective should be maybe a little bit more enhanced or engaging. And he's saying, no, each one is going to be totally different. Maybe for some, but because it's comic art, it can be over exaggerated. So
it should be.
Kyle,
that's the purpose of comic books, to be exaggerated. There's going to be, if a comic book is done right, there's going to be exaggeration.
Absolutely, man. Totally. I think I'd spoken over Kyle, so I apologize, man, if I cut you off there. But were you saying something earlier?
No, it's fine. It's just that he can't just say one comment and leave it alone. He is getting into a debate with this guy on fucking Twitter. Like,
yeah.
You're like 5 comments deep. It's like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, you realize they're all just baiting you, and you're just looking more and more like a dumbass.
Dude, but what's crazy, and we're about to see this in just a second, it wasn't even just a debate on X. He not only did a debate, he then wrote out like a book of a tweet or an X post, but then he also then did a post later that we're gonna see where he's saying comic artists and colorists wanted. Like he put out
wow.
He put out like a want ad after he posted this, which was like just a manifesto of just nonsense. All because some guy just said, hey, maybe this would look a little bit cooler if you did the arms this way. Like, God, see, now my blood is boiling. It's so angering to see someone who's created this like big old company and like, you know, thinks that they're gonna be the next competitor to Marvel and DC, and someone legitimately is just trying to say like, hey, this is cool, this may look a little bit better, like, hope this helps. And instead you get, this isn't a comic book. Well, then motherfucker, what is it? So but yeah, so he responds back, you said it was comic books, the approach is how something is drawn differently, blah blah. So semantics then, interesting. Eric responds, not at all. As explained in how something is drawn or approached differs depending on the purpose of the piece. Wolverine, an account titled Wolverine, says, I've been an artist for all of my 53 years with a focus on comic book and fantasy art in that order. I was a professional illustrator since 1986. In my professional opinion, you have no damned idea what the words you're typing mean, and you're talking entirely out of your ass.
There you go.
So Eric says, your opinion is noted. I don't understand why you have to be such an asshole and so dense about something that is clearly just some guy doing something fun to engage with your artwork, man. Like, it's so frustrating to see this. So
yeah, go back down a little bit because go scroll down a little bit because he's got that other outside of this exchange. This one, the mistress, like
Mistress
where she's
says,
yeah.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, she's saying like his comment doesn't address the point, which is very accurate.
Yeah.
And then he comes back with, "I was tagged in a post and corrected the assumption that it was incorrect, or corrected the assumption that was incorrect." Like, again, it's not like when you're talking about depth perception, this isn't a matter of like opinion. It is a matter of like how to do it correctly and how not to do it. And he's still getting defensive when it wasn't a bashing post.
No.
Like,
and even if it...
go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just going to say, even if it was some turd on here who's like, Eric July sucks and his artists all suck, you should follow me and do it this way, or blah, blah, blah. He's still getting interaction, and Eric doesn't have to respond to this. Hey, if Eric keeps saying, all I want to do is make good comics, I'm getting off of YouTube, I'm going to focus on my business, I'm going to be more professional, then stop fucking responding to these stupid posts if you truly are going to be focusing on your business. Like, it makes no sense to me why he continues. Well, actually it does, because he's getting engagement from this. So,
but I don't think he's doing it for engagement. I think he's doing it because he literally has like no self-worth, and
because
he feels
his ego.
His
ego will not let him. Yeah.
I just looked up how old he is. He's 34 years old. But based on how he responds, you would think this guy is like late teens to 22, 23. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like someone who is genuinely just trying to have mature conversations. He just seems like a petulant child. Your opinion is noted. Period. This isn't a comic book. Period. Dude, just say, like we said earlier, Josh, I feel like one of the best things he could have done is like, hey, thank you so much for the criticism, or like, thank you so much for drawing this. This is awesome. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing great with your art. Or like, I hope you enjoy like the next book or something. Like, this is so rad. Like, it's not hard. It's like the easiest thing ever to have just public relations with people if you are truly trying to be like open and understanding of people interacting with your art.
Yeah, and you put out that hiring post that you had earlier and say, hey, we love to submit your stuff. We'd love to have you on, you know? Maybe get you
Come
on
on in. Yeah. Except if you
oh my God.
Except if you've ever insulted or attacked your customers or fans.
Fuck you.
I don't care about your tenure, whether you're new to the industry or a seasoned veteran, your political views, or any other superficial details. Well, we know he doesn't care about his political views because he hired two Satanist trans activists, feminists, to write his comics. So he doesn't care about political views. If you're professional and your actions haven't interfered with business, but Eric's not professional. Eric doesn't even hold the professionalism that he's calling people to. I'll gladly review your work. The only immediate disqualifiers you've ever insulted or attacked our customers or fans. So if he is in fact talking about this guy, that's wild. Because
it's not an attack.
It's not
like
remotely
if you're that
an attack.
thin-skinned, if you cannot handle someone literally coming in with constructive criticism from the stance of like, hey, I think you could actually make this better this way, you should not be running a business. Yeah. You shouldn't be doing anything creative related where people are going to consume your product because you can't handle it.
Well, and the other problem is, like, you got that piece, you didn't even probably consider it, or you didn't even think about it, you know, and you could have at least said, like, oh yeah, we thought about it, we decided to go the other way. But no, in fact, he probably didn't even consider it. They just took it. So
yeah, it's a big, you just throw your hands at me and go, okay.
It's not a comic book. We're gonna use it for a print. What the fuck is it? Just tell me. I'm curious.
Here's what really makes this worse than the fact that it is what it is you can't spend the entire you can't make the entire basis of your company the fact that you're going to come in and deliver quality unlike the big two and then keep putting shit out. Like at some point you've just got to say, hey, the goal here is to be better than DC and Marvel, so I'm going to take whatever I can get. Writing advice, artistic advice, like you can't just sit here and be like, well, here's my buddy and yeah, fuck you. Like that doesn't work. You can't come in and spend years boasting and like pumping yourself up because you've got something that's good and then continue to put out shit, and not only continue to put out shit but actively turn people away or criticize them or call them detractors when they try to help you.
And that's the big thing too, is that just by us having this conversation and talking about this and discussing it, we would technically be labeled as detractors because we're saying like, oh, well, you know, Eric isn't running his business correctly, or Eric is, you know, has a ego, which like maybe these things are all true. But ultimately, the reason why we're doing this is because I would genuinely love to see a secondary publishing company or a tertiary publishing company do well. Like if these characters actually just got huge and we finally had something that was like, you know, you could really buy into, and this whole universe that was created and stuff, that'd be rad. But that's not what we're getting. It's nothing close to what we're getting.
Yeah.
So when we see stuff like this where we're like, hey, this is a step in the right direction, but Eric just shits on it and disingenuously is like, this isn't a comic book. Okay, man, then what is it? You know, like, what is it then? Yeah. God, do I dare even just like look at this? This is in response to the whole art debacle. So this account says, for Igor, Chackle Igor, says, please stop the art fixing thing. It's not respectable and it's boring. You could nitpick a Renaissance painting if you wanted. Thinking something could be improved only means you saw something different than the artist making the piece regarding your personal taste. It doesn't make you an artist. Go make your own stuff instead. Thanks. Yeah, but if there are objective rules or maybe not even objective, but subjective rules that could make the art a little bit better or a little bit more engaging or fun or just dynamic, why not embrace that?
Here's what I'm going to say. The most successful people that I know in life, and I know a goddamn ton of successful people, they have all had mentors. And not just one, not just two. They've had many mentors, people that have come in and coached them and spoken to them in ways of saying, hey, you've got a lot of aptitude and opportunities here. And, you know, if you come and work on this, this, and this, you're going to get better. Or, hey, this looks really good, but if you start learning how to do this, it's going to give this type of presentation or image and it's going to work better. They take that advice because they know that these people that are giving them this advice have done it and have found success doing whatever they're doing. If you look at any of the great comic book artists, they have gone to others for advice. They have had people that were mentors. We don't see it nowadays because it doesn't exist anymore. But if you go back in the days when you had what do they call it? The bullpen? Is that right, Drew? Is that what they called it?
Yeah.
Like you had all these artists working together, and the whole point was getting these young people that had a lot of talent and a lot of potential and helping them understand how to craft things in certain ways so they could become better. And it was just this energy of everyone striving to be better. The only recent story I've heard of people doing stuff like this is Jorge Jimenez, who's been doing like the Batman comics. So he's got a studio that he works out of, and there are like 3 or 4 other artists that all work out of that studio. But the reason they say they do it is because they're constantly looking at their work going, oh, you know, it'd be cool. Or they're seeing something that is done well, and then they're getting inspired to take those elements or techniques and put it in their own art. Like
Art Germ is the same way. Art Germ, he's got, I mean, he's more or less transitioned from being the cover artist to more or less the teacher now. He's got his own studio of artists, and you look at who he's got under him, and they are some superstars on the rise.
That's cool. I mean, even with writing, like even for one of my YouTube videos, I remember sending it to like Aaron and Josh and being like, hey, what else do I need here? Right?
Yeah.
Or like, what is something that I'm missing? Or is this over explaining? Or does this make sense? And having their input made the video better, even if they told me, this shit sucks. You know what I mean? Like, hey, rewrite this, or like, this doesn't make sense, or whatever it may be. And as much as it bruises my ego of being like a brilliant writer, I'm like, no, yeah, you're right. That does make more sense, and it's better for me to rewrite it. So it just like you said, having a collaborative effort, not always, but for a lot of the time, encourages creativity. It actually embraces more of it, and it pushes creativity to the top. You got that cream rising to the top. You always got to get that cream rising to the top.
Cream.
The cream.
Two mice were in a bucket of cream. The bucket tipped over. One made it out. He's turning.
Was Christopher Walken just here? That was pretty good. This is interesting. D Mina, what's happening, dude? He says EVS is crap, John Malin is crap, CG is crap, Eric and the Rippaverse is crap. Ooh, wow, that's a lot of crap.
Define what about them is crap. That's what I would say.
Yeah, there are a lot of things about each one of these that's crap.
Yes,
but yeah.
But EVS's art, I would never associate that with crap. John Malin's art, I would not associate that with crap.
I would.
Eric, how he responds to people on Twitter, that's crap.
His work is crap too. Like, let's be honest, we haven't got a good thing yet.
A little bit of both. Whereas, like, I've been rereading the Jeff Johns EVS run of Green Lantern, bro.
Ooh,
oh my god, what we used to have.
Yeah.
What we had it all. We had it all. It's like the way that EVS draws the Spectre is so intimidating. It's like soul sucking, man. Like the intensity in the illustration really brings out, like, you can see that there is a internal struggle between Spectre, Hal, and Parallax, all at the same time going through this like mind F. And you can see that through the illustrations that EVS is doing. So though EVS probably rubs people the wrong way and has like burned a lot of bridges or whatever, that man is one of the god tier level artists of DC's time.
If you want to see where it all began, go to Flash Iron Heights. That is a beautiful, beautiful book that he and Jeff Johns did. Yeah.
What were you going to say, Josh?
No, I was going to say, like, EVS, he knows what he's doing. Like, this is his thing now. This is his shtick, kind of being the guy that disrupts and, shock jock type of thing. Mm-hmm. But to, like, give him the benefit of the doubt in some ways, like, he got royally screwed over.
He was one of the first ones that got that experienced truly what it meant to be a Republican in comic books in that era.
Yeah, he got the experience. He was the Gina Carano before Gina Carano. Here we go.
Yeah. And so the shock jock personality that he has taken on makes total sense. If you were the first, and yet you were one of the best in the industry and that still happened to you, absolutely. And he's making good money. You know what I mean? He's doing his books and he's doing his YouTube. Why not? Why stop? JK says, for me, the bottom line is that art is always a dialogue between the artist and the writer and the audience. Art can express with a receiver. Art can't express with a receiver. Or maybe without a receiver. Because in order for art to be expressed, it has to have someone that's viewing it, right? Like, you could paint a beautiful painting, but if the creator is the only one who's engaging with it, it's still art, but no one is able to engage with it. Yeah. Huh.
It's very deep.
It is very deep.
Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate your input.
That's why I'm here.
Kyle's just going to give
on to Eric July's blabbering. So
yes, please. His hibbity jibbity.
Yeah, I think of very deep.
Yeah. Yeah, Kyle's just going to be the one-liner guy tonight. Thank you. That's all for me tonight. I'm out of here.
You've been good. See ya.
You've been good. So Eric writes this insane monologue, like a villain, like preaching to, like this is something like Doom would write, and then just start, speaking.
No,
he
Dark
says-
Doom is smarter than this.
Yeah, actually, that's a good point. Fixing, quote unquote. See that fixing,
See, and
already just being condescending.
One reason why I know Doom would not write this is because Eric does not refer to himself as a third person in this. If he were Doom, he would refer to himself as a third person.
Just like Jimmy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And fixing shouldn't be in quotes. It's an object. It's true. He did fix it. So
yeah, this is a fix.
Yeah.
You fixed this.
We fixed the glitch.
Yes, 100%. Fixing the line art of another artist, especially publicly, is generally seen as a no-no among many professionals. So already wrong, because, well, maybe not. Maybe you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But if I do so recall and remember, Ethan, speaking of Ethan Van Sciver, got a ton of shit for his ISOM #2 cover, because ISOM was holding one of those monkey alien things. And his ISOM's arm was actually too long for the perspective shot. But Ethan had said, well, in order to get the arm around the head of the alien, and in order for me to showcase that ISOM was like kind of shoving his arm a little bit towards the cover, it had to be a little bit longer and it had to be more, accentuated, but it is incorrectly drawn, right? Because there were a couple different people who were redrawing it and going, haha, EVS can't draw because his arm is all wonky and it's wrong. But then Ethan goes, oh yeah, no, you're right, actually. But hopefully I was, what I was trying to do is showcase this and that. But yeah, no, you're right. It was too long. And then everyone got over it. And I was like, oh, okay. So I don't know. Maybe it is a no-no. Have you guys seen this before in comics, or has this been done that has been seen as something that is objectively like, you don't do that? Like releasing page rates for an artist, that's something you don't do. I don't
that monetary reason. Like, that's private. But
right.
This, I mean, look, this is stuff that this is stuff that's been done for a very long time. Other artists will do this. It may be seen as a no-no, but they do this. Artists have been petty enough to do this stuff for a very long time. This is not new.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not new. And yeah, I guess you could say it's a no-no, but at the same time, it's kind of like, again, the original post was not the guy coming out trashing. He wasn't being like, oh, this is why Rippaverse is shit. They can't even get perspective right, yada da da. Like, they don't understand. Like, it wasn't that. It was genuinely like, hey, look at this image. Here's how this could. It's a very clinical description of how you could make that image better. And again, art is subjective, but when you're looking at something like depth perception, it's very much an objective thing. It's either is or it isn't. And the fact that you're coming in and doing this, and I'm kind of looking at this, I'm like, okay, but no, among many professionals, dude, no offense, but I kind of don't see you as a professional.
That is a really good point as well. As a professional, it's like, what does that mean as a professional? Does that mean someone that's publishing comics for a living and makes their life worth and makes their money solely on comic books, right? Or is a professional someone who has been in their industry for a decade? Or is a professional someone who has honed their craft to where they are the industry standard, right? But so it is difficult to measure, but I do think that Eric still is in these kind of infant stages of his creative process. He's probably been creating for a while, but that doesn't mean you're a professional within the comic book industry.
Yeah. Look, at the end of the day, and again, this is going back to like one of the first things I said. Anytime you're putting something out for public consumption, there's going to be criticism and critique.
Yep.
So if you cannot handle it, get out of the game. Like, I don't know what else to tell you. Get out. Again, this wasn't an attack, man. Like I'm so blown away by how like been out of shape and bitchy he's being about this.
So real quick, real quick, what Andy just said. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Rob has been criticized, understandably, but at the same time, he's made a lot of fucking money. He's still making a lot of money. He is moving books. Look, I'm not going to tell you the exact numbers. I have talked to people in the Rob camp who have been working with him recently on all his projects. With Youngblood, he's doing very well. He's doing very, very well. So this gravy train is not ending anytime soon.
Well,
people will love this style.
That is the point there too, because like you could come back and say, well, Eric has been successful, and you're right. He has. He's found success, but he has not found long-term success. And I think the things that people are trying to communicate to him would be things that would help him have long-term success.
Totally, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and what's weird in all this is that he should be his harshest critic. I am my harshest critic. There is nothing that anybody could ever say about my writing or anything that I don't already know or that I've already told myself 1,000 times. So anything that he gets should just be like, yeah, okay, so what? Thanks, moving on, because trust me, I've gotten over 1,000 times and nobody could say anything that I haven't said to myself at some point or another. So I don't understand this whiny, petty baby bullshit.
Did Max? Oh, I was like, did Max?
Wait, what?
Sorry,
I like looked away and then looked up, and then Max
and then
is
I was
gone.
gone.
Did Max like pass out? Like, what happened? Did he faint?
Abracadabra. I was done with Eric's shit, and so I was like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. No, but yeah, no, Kyle, I like what you said though, because being your own worst critic, you're going to take yourself. You can still take yourself seriously, but I feel like you have a different perspective, and you're maybe more introspective, where you can look at yourself objectively and with a mature lens to say, you know what, maybe I'm not hot shit. Maybe I've got some learning to do, and that's okay.
Maybe you're not king of forest. Yes.
Yes. Yeah. So he continues. I've also witnessed this in the world of colorists. There are far better, more professional ways to communicate critiques or suggest corrections. In this case, rarely have I or our creative teams been approached respectively or constructively when it comes to elevating our work. Now, like you said, Josh, I really do think that this is respectful enough to where he's not, like I said, he's not being like, oh, this fucking sucks. This is the worst shit I've ever seen. You all need to do it like I do it. He's just saying, I don't often do this, but it's a pretty simple fix that took about 10 minutes, just quick and dirty perspective. Arms clearly should clearly extend past the leg close to the viewer camera. Pump up the guns, force perspective. These are comic books. They should be dynamic and exciting. No need to thank me. Maybe this was maybe someone sees that as him being as a little bit, shitty and being like, no need to thank me, right? But it's not offensively bad where he's like, just, yeah, all of you suck and need to rethink your lives. It's just like, hey man, here's something cool that I think might work, right?
He also put a lull there, laugh out loud. No, look, I think you can get a lot on what his approach is. By the way, he started that. I don't often do this, but I'm going to do this just this once.
Right.
Yeah.
So Eric says that they have rarely been approached respectfully or constructively. So anyone who has offered criticism has been disrespectful, or their constructiveness has just been destructive. Like it's not been criticism that will help. It's just been criticism that will tear down.
Bad faith.
Bad faith. Bad faith.
Bad faith. I mean, dude, Aaron has even tried reaching out to Eric to be like, hey, like, I will lend my services to you. I think, it could do a lot of good. And is that bad faith? Like, is that bad faith?
No.
Yes.
Not at all. Yes. It's like one of the most genuine good faith things Aaron could possibly do. And yet after all his and I would consider Aaron someone who is super professional, has worked with other professionals, has worked within the comic book industry. Like, this is a guy who knows how to edit professionally, and yet Eric wouldn't even give him the time of day. So very, very interesting there. In this case, rarely have our creative teams, blah, blah. It has always seemed to be present as a spectacle, or it always seems to be presented as a spectacle, which reveals the true intent, even though for some reason we are expected to ignore it. Why wouldn't you ignore it? Like, you're the CEO, owner, operator, businessman of your company. Fucking ignore it, man. Like, that would, yeah, it's like.
He brings it upon himself for being an asshole.
Yeah. Yeah. And if someone is trying to make it a spectacle, you make it a spectacle when you respond.
Yeah.
Like,
Exactly.
It kills me when I read this stuff, because you could go through each line and just be like, no, wrong, no. Even this post will likely be met with disingenuous reactions. Uh-oh. Well,
he just says right back, this isn't a post.
Well, there you go.
Well, then what is it?
Yeah.
This
Oh, yeah.
is not a comic book.
It's not a comic book, so it's not. Yeah, it's not a post.
Mm-hmm.
As if we're claiming the critique itself shouldn't or can't happen. Yeah. Sorry, give me one sec. Josh, do you want to maybe take this line?
Yeah. So
If you can see it?
yeah, specifically on this topic, it's been interesting to watch artists weigh in as they are debating both sides of the piece's correction. This alone highlights that much of this is rooted in subjective opinion, intention, perspective, etc. And make no mistake, everybody's entitled to it. I certainly empathize with Igor, obviously, especially since he's also defending his colleague. Yeah. I mean, is your intention shitty art? I mean,
Right.
Popcorn Max. Where'd you leave off?
That next, all that said.
Wait, hold up.
What? It's no, it's the top of the paragraph. All that said, the emotionalism surrounding our company makes for a larger conversation, bro. Don't even. The only reason there's fucking emotionalism around your company is because you do this shit. If you didn't respond or just did what Max said and said thanks and that's it, you know how far this would go? Maybe a tenth as far as it went. Like, it wouldn't be a topic of conversation. It would hit the stratosphere of social media and completely fade into non-existence, just like your company's going to do, because this is the shit you do and this is how you run your fucking company.
And that's what I've noticed about all of this drama, whether it comes from, whether it's Riley, the guy who showed up to the Dallas meetup and got arrested, whether it's EVS, making fun of Eric, whether it's detractors, whether it's, whatever it may be, all of it gets blown out of proportion, or all of it is sensationalism, or emotionalism, as he says here. But all of it gets interacted with, which just, it makes more interactions. And that's what the company feels like it's built upon, instead of just the comic books, right? Like the first video that Eric did about the, what was it, like owning the chuds or whatever, right? It wasn't about comic books. It was about Riley and like fans, and how fans have been interacting with him and they're disingenuous and bad faith and blah, blah. And they're stalking him and stuff. And it's like, okay, cool, dude. Like, no one cares. Like, it's your lowest viewed video on your channel right now. Like, people care more about the comics, but the company has cared more about this like drama stuff. So, there seems to be a belief that among some that anything aimed at us must simply be accepted without response. Dude, yeah. If you are going, like, do you understand how much criticism Marvel and DC has every single day? Especially coming from me. You know what I mean? Like,
no shit, Eric. How much does he bash fucking Marvel and DC?
Yeah, well, yeah, that too.
How many years now? Yeah.
Gosh, yeah. A big part of the channel.
I was gonna say a good probably at least 5 years now he's been doing that.
I'd say so. I think so.
Yeah. And bro, Eric, just you got to be careful when your batting average is White Widow. I mean, that's kind of the quality level you're on at the moment.
Well, yeah, that's a good point.
Yep.
When the comic books for your character, you're doing like a farmer's market. Yeah.
Well, at least he doesn't. Yeah, I was gonna say at least he hasn't had his character with a a schizophrenic sociopathic board saying what they like, what they don't like, and who they're going to kill today and who they're going to let live. It's like, yeah, no.
I dislike. Yeah, I dislike cabbage, but I love corgis. It's like this is Marvel Comics right now. And that we should ignore the fact that at the same level of scrutiny, it's consistently applied by the individual to artists or companies more closely aligned with their own circles. This continues to highlight something I've been pointing out for some time now. For some, their disdain for me personally is causing them to unfairly tear down the work of other writers, artists, and creators who are simply doing their jobs with professionalism, respect, and genuine passion. So the thing that's wild here, though, I actually personally liked Eric a hell of a lot more before all this Rippaverse stuff happened. I never had disdain for Eric personally. I actually was really excited for the Rippaverse. You guys know, I bought in on all the books and bought in on all the marketing. And
we all bought into Ice '1. We all did.
No, we didn't. Dude. No, we didn't.
Well, Josh did. Josh was. He's like. Josh knew.
75% of us.
Yeah. He was the smart retard who kept his helmet on the short bus.
I was the one going, all right, let it drop and let me see what people say about it. Then I might buy into it. But
yeah, I'm going to stick with Fire and Ice.
Yeah, that's a much better comic.
No, before all this Rippaverse, Eric was seen as somebody intelligent.
Yeah. And like videos that would drop where I'd watch him and I'd go, man, that's a really good point. And I think it's cool that he is speaking out about this stuff. Like one of his most famous videos is he talks about Tolkienism and how Tolkienism ruins the original character that was made to hold the mantle, right? And how the character that has garnered the Tolkien, mantle is now seen as lesser because they can't uphold their own mantle like Falcon without being given the hand-me-downs of a Captain America or something. So it delegitimizes the other character. And I was like, that's actually that's a really good point. And I thought that it was a great video that he had pointed that out. Now, I don't remember the last video that I watched where I thought he had anything insightful to say.
You want to know why? Because I doubt those are his actual thoughts. I'm based on all of this, I'm 99% positive he heard other people speaking to these things and was like, those are good points. I'm gonna regurgitate it. Which fine, whatever, good on you for doing it. But
sure,
you're now showing that because you're in a position where you don't think you need to listen to people and you're just out there speaking, you don't know shit. Like, this guy's a fucking moron.
But that's what's crazy, man, is that I think he has this perception of this right here that I've highlighted, that the disdain for him, that people just can't stand him. They just hate him so much. And it's like, dude, I never hated you ever. I still don't hate him.
I kind of hate him.
Well, I know, Josh.
Look, I don't hate him. He annoys the fuck out of me.
Yes, he is very annoying, and he just doesn't know when to stop talking. That's the biggest thing. I
think he's a disingenuous, arrogant prick. That's what I think.
And you know what? That's fair. That's super fair. And I think that is, with the actions and the character that he has shown, I think that the narcissism and ego that is, showcased in a lot of this stuff makes sense for you to think that. And I wouldn't even argue about that. So,
and it could be condoned or overseen if he was actually good or smart or intelligent. It'd be like, all right, he's a prick, but at least, he's putting out genius level work.
But you haven't delivered the goods once.
Correct.
Like, you're struggling to hit mediocre, dude.
Right.
Yeah, like which would I read more, Fire and Ice or like a Rippaverse book? It's like if you have to ask that question, you're gonna go, oh, that's not. You don't want to be on that level. So
Yeah.
I mean, I guess in that regard, he is competing with DC, but that's not the good kind of competitiveness that he needs or wants. So yeah, all that being said, yeah, this sentence here really just made me go, listen, man, our disdain for you personally is like the last thing on my list of why I vehemently disagree with so much of what goes on in these like Rippaverse circles and whatever's happening there. So this is evident in how some attribute things to me when attacking it that I had nothing to do with creating. Their only crime is being associated with me and the Rippaverse. No, man. Regardless of whether you're a Rippaverse employee or the Rippaverse or you know, what I mean to say, like CEO and original operator and all this stuff. Wouldn't matter to me because I feel like at least on our show and a lot of the stuff that we've done, doesn't matter what it is, we're going to rip it apart. And so we're going to criticize it based off of its merit, which is something that I really thought and wish that the rest of YouTube upheld when it came to Eric's trailer. You know what I mean? Like, I wish that there was some sort of respectable conversation to say, hey, man, this ain't it. You know what I mean? Or like, hey, we watched it, but it's like, I'm super excited that Eric is like making his own stuff and he has this creative outlet. That's awesome. But it's not a good trailer, you know?
No, it's
embarrassing.
not.
It was embarrassing.
It's so bad it's good. But here's the thing. Had he just been like, look, guys, we were trying something different. And had he just said that, I wouldn't have bashed the shit out of him. I still would have laughed at, you took that like a chomp, a doctor die. I would have made fun of him for not knowing what did he say? Scandinavian? Was it? He didn't know.
It was Icelandic and Scandinavian.
Well, Scandinavian is Icelandic.
Oh, then maybe he said Icelandic and Slavic.
He said Slavic, and she's from Iceland. Yeah. So, like,
which are two completely different things.
Yeah. Yes, I still would have given him shit for that, even if it was a mix-up, man. Like, I say the wrong thing a ton of times, but you know what? When people call me out on it, I laugh because I'm like, my bad. That's not what I meant. Sorry, and I move on. Had he just been like, yo, we're trying to. I applaud him for trying something different. Like, how many times do you see comic book companies go, hey, we're going to make a live action trailer for this book? That's a pretty cool idea. Unfortunately, it sucked, But hey, people were talking.
People did talk. That's for sure. And it just also wasn't a trailer. It was like meant to be a promo for like a show.
I don't want to steal MG's thought. MG kind of, made a comment about Eric has turned into the exact same people he used to criticize at Marvel, DC, and Hollywood. Victim. Part of the reason people criticize that trailer so hard because he had already been in this victim mentality for a while now. And it's only getting worse. And guess what? That's only going to encourage people to criticize you more.
Yep. If he was a man, he would have blamed the women that made that trailer.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, I mean, they did, because I don't know if you guys remember that documentary that he did, where it's just one big self-filleting ego jerk-off session. But yeah, that documentary, they go, Eric needed two strong women to like create his, or he birthed Yaira into the world and we just made her perfect or something. You're like, what? What is happening right now? But yeah, no, those two, they're something else. They were on set there screaming action, making sure that everyone was make sure to hold off the areas so Alpha Corps can arrive. And you're like, what do you say? Is that a Toys R Us microphone you're holding there, dude? Secure the area until Alfcorn can get to the arrive. Go. You're like, gosh dang it, we couldn't have do that one at the end? Do that one from the top? Yeah. Like, hey, here's the thing though. If I were to try and make a video right now or a movie, it would suck too, and that's okay. Like, not everything's gonna be perfect or
See, but you have the knowledge to know that. He doesn't. He would never say.
And I think that's the difference is like I would put out something that I would hopefully be proud of, but I'd recognize that if I'm putting it out in the world, it's going to get criticized. And I'm not God's gift to creation. So he ends with this. The Rippaverse isn't in anyone's way. We aren't competing for anyone's opportunities, and we aren't looking to tear others down, and that's fine. Oh, yes.
The whole point of starting Rippaverse was to compete with Marvel and DC. You're literally trying to get in the way of Marvel and DC.
Yeah, you're saying you can make a better product than they could.
Yeah.
But I think he's talking about indie creators. I mean,
is he?
I don't know. I don't think he knows what he's trying to say. I think as always, he's just saying a bunch of random shit, hoping it makes sense, and it doesn't. Because keep reading, because it pisses me off.
But I do see where you're coming from though, Josh, because if he were to say, we aren't competing for anyone's opportunities, I guess it does read like that, huh? Now that I'm rereading it. We aren't looking to tear others down. But if you're creating a parallel economy,
what do we say he's done for the past 5 to 6 years? Tear down the work of Marvel and DC. And that's not to say that it wasn't accurate assessments. They were. That's why people kind of jumped on his bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
But you can't then come back and say, this isn't what we're trying to do. Like, bitch, please, sit the fuck down. It's exactly what you were trying to do.
Which, now, if that is what he is, in fact, trying to do, is that okay? Because, like, if he's genuinely trying to compete, I think it's okay if he's trying to say, like, hey, screw this other company. You guys want to read our stuff because our stuff is entertaining, right? That's like part of the marketing plan, I thought.
But look, if you can't handle the heat, get out the fucking kitchen, man. Like, I get I'm being brash right now, and I'm sure a lot of people are like, well, what the fuck do you know? One, when I was writing, I was used to having my shit just like shit on. But I would purposely give it to people and say, quote, I want you to bleed on this, which meant I want you to take a red pen and mark it the fuck up, because as many different perspectives as I can get, the better I can make it. And I may or may not take your advice. That's on me. But I want it.
Yeah, you need a red pen every now and then. You need that red pen. JK says, well, DC has a wide enough market that they can have niche books like Fire and Ice and survive their established survive. They are established and owned by a larger company. Rippaverse needs more than the fans that believe. And that's a really good point, JK, because, DC and Marvel are both propped up by mommy and daddy companies, Disney and Warner Brothers Discovery. And they use comic books as really just marketing. Rippa, he's really only got a couple, I'd say maybe 10,000 fans that are loyal to, like, they will buy everything that comes out, which is, hey, 10,000, that's amazing. That's a ton of people. But if you're going to continue to charge $45 for a book, that 10,000, it's going to look a little bit different in a year's time, especially if you're putting out a $45 book every quarter as opposed to every year. And it may dwindle because that's a lot of money for your group of fans that are followers. So,
but true. DC and Marvel, they have Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. They have those titles that will make them money, so then they can afford to have shitty titles that they can take a chance on. Much like college sports, NCAA. Hey, we have a college football program that brings in enough money to fund all the fake women's sports that we can have. You want to claim how great you are. It's like, yeah, they're funding all your shit, so shut the fuck up and be happy that you have a football team that makes money. So Eric doesn't have jack or shit. So
Yeah. And this is actually a really good point from MG as well. I didn't even recognize this at first, but yeah, MG says, and we aren't looking to tear others down, end quote. Oh, yeah. Well, what about crowdfunding? And that is such a valid point that I completely forgot about, because I remember Eric specifically being very pointed in him saying, our books are going to be on time. Our books are going to come out and you're going to get them on time. And it's not like crowdfunding. I'm not a crowdfunder. Like, he was saying it like it was just the disgusting, dirty underbelly of the comic book industry, right? So yeah, no, he totally shits on crowdfunders and Kickstarters and Indiegogos. Do you guys remember when he funded that one guy's Indiegogo project and gave him $700 and was like, you gotta fix your attitude, so I'm gonna give you the $700 for you to like make your campaign, but only if you you fix your attitude and like you do this and do that. And the kid who got the 700 from him, he sent it back to Eric and he was like, keep your insults and your fucking money, I don't want your charity. I was like, oh my god. So yeah, he's not the most like morally upstanding gentleman in the world. So he's been dropping more books this year and increasing production. Yeah. MG says, imagine saying you're going to dance on the graves of Marvel and DC, and the best thing you did was have a guy who nobody knows what his powers are fall on a car.
got a hit.
Can't miss.
Nope.
LSU football is what keeps LSU sports alive.
See?
Yeah, I've seen those numbers. I've seen the bank account numbers, the tax returns, and it's ugly for those lady programs.
I believe it, man. Yeah. So Horseman. No, I thought this was the first Horseman book, right? This is Horseman, not Horseman.
But there's already been a Horseman comic, number 1.
Yeah.
It's
or maybe
another
maybe
number
that
1?
was just a preview.
No, it's the full issue. I read the full issue. It's dog shit, but it's the best shitty Rippaverse book.
Because it's Chuck Dixon?
Sure.
Yeah. Chuck at this point is just like, give me my money, dude.
Check cleared? All right, sure. Here's your story.
Yeah. I got Conan stuff to write.
I got another Levon book to write.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wait, can you? I was gonna say, can you please read those last 3 sentences?
Unfortunately, I will. Yes. No matter what is thrown at us, fair or unfair, we genuinely don't view anyone as our enemy.
Bullshit.
But he just said we're not gonna hire anyone that's criticized our work.
Would those be enemies?
That sounds like it.
Yeah.
EVS would be an enemy, I think.
Yeah. And then his last thing here is, we're simply focused on building something positive and lasting for the fans who believe in what we're doing. That's where our energy stays.
In writing cope posts like this.
Yep.
In writing a page and a half of just, nonsense. So, Eric Wall of Cope July. But that's the big thing for me, is like, if you really are the owner, operator, businessman of your company, you don't need to do this, man. Shouldn't you have a marketing director that's like, stop, fucking stop, get off your give me your laptop right now, give me your phone. Like, they should have like a marketing director who is just saying, you need to be off all social media, and every time you write something, it comes through me before it goes through, like,
this is exactly like Trump during the first administration. Someone should have kept his phone from him during the first administration. Same thing with Eric. Yeah,
he was tweeting Coffee V. Wasn't that one of the ones?
Go Fifi, yeah.
Go Fifi.
So, like, what I would do is I would say Eric needs a manager, and whoever the manager is needs to change his passwords. Like, just,
There you go.
be like, it's for your own good, dude. Just filter it through me.
Yep.
Yeah. Just stop responding to this shit. Stop making these cope posts. Just fucking, if you truly are running a business, run your business, dude. Don't do this shit anymore. It's pathetic.
Here's the thing, and I'm just gonna say this is how I respond to people. I'm not saying it's right. I'm gonna match whatever energy you're bringing. So if you're gonna bring dumb fuck energy, I'm gonna bring dumb fuck energy right back to you. So that's why Eric gets the vitriol that I give him, because that's what he gives out. So guess what? I'm gonna throw it right back at you, buddy.
Hey, brother, I get it. When I see stuff like that, when I see stuff like him, funding that crowdfunding campaign that was $700, and he was like, "Fix your attitude," and like, it's just this so holier than thou type of behavior. Yeah, it really sets you off. So I understand. So the last thing, finally, in response, and what's crazy is that all of this started just from this, like I said. So in response to his response, he says, additionally, I don't care about your tenure, blah, blah, your political views, any of those superficial details. If you're professional and your actions haven't interfered with business, I'll gladly review your work. The only immediate disqualifier is if you've ever insulted or attacked our customers or fans. But then Dick Masterson thinks that this is a fake wanted post. Do we think it's fake or do we think it's real? Is he posturing? Or do we think that this is legitimate?
How long has this been posted for?
That's a good question. I don't even know where this came from. I just saw this on Dick Masterson's Twitter page.
Oh, so is this on Eric July's Twitter feed?
It could be. Let's check. I mean, do we want to look through the mind of...
Oh, God.
Oh, okay. So it's the horseman, back to action. Not back in action. Driven by revenge.
Oh my God.
So we're led to assume by that title that he's been out of action. He's been or he did it at once, stopped, and now he's back to it.
That sounds right.
But it's a number one?
Is it? Or is it like an... Oh, no, it is a number one. I see a little number one in the corner here.
So is it number one again? He already had a number one.
The Horseman number one book pack. I don't know.
But he already had Horseman number one.
Oh, well, at least we know we're getting this jewel of a cover.
The Sad Eye song, yeah.
I still cannot believe this is real. Sad Eye Sum. That's wild, man. Wait, is Erica Brony? Uh-oh.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, oh no, this was only 4 hours ago. So, I mean, God, he's tweeting like everything. So it would take us the whole rest of the show to look through to see if he actually did post it.
All right.
Yeah, I apologize. Unfortunately, we do have to get to Daredevil at some point, but...
Jesus.
It was... I'm not going to say anything. I'm not saying anything.
Wait, what did I miss? What did I miss?
I'm just going to scroll right past this guy. I'm not going to say anything. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know if this is fake or real, or if this is actually, if this was recent or what, but it just seems like it is very relevant to the post that he made earlier here. And it seems relevant to the fact that, it plays into the fact that there was someone who was criticizing the art. So.
But what artist is looking for commissions?
Maybe just to do pinup posters for.
But that's not
Rippaverse?
we're not hiring for commissions. That's a weird way to phrase that.
That does seem odd. It
Commissions
would
is
be
what
like
the artists do.
right. But Eric July is a creative.
Right. So we said
He's
we're
a creative.
hiring. Are you looking for commissions? It's like what? No,
Like-
I'm an artist. I do the commissions.
Yeah. Sorry, I choked on my Pellegrino. But yeah. No, yeah,
Gay.
like Aaron Lepresti. Hey, at least it's not. What was the blue bottle that the influencer was drinking?
Oh yeah, Saratoga.
Saratoga. I dumped my face in that shit this morning. But yeah, no, I think that like if I'm talking to Aaron Lepresti and I go, "Hey, Aaron, could you do a commission for me?"
There you go.
That's
Yes.
from the artist to the consumer.
Right.
Unless Eric wants the artist to do a commission for Rippaverse.
But that would say, are you looking for work? Like, you wouldn't say, are you looking for commissions?
To the
Like-
artist.
Yeah, it's like, what? From
Yeah.
whom?
Yeah, who's it to and who's it for?
Cajun found the post. It was from April 6th.
Oh, okay, so just a few days ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dang, Cajun doing good research there. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. So
Well,
I guess it is real. Yeah. I mean, I guess it makes sense because this post was on April 4th.
damn.
Oh my god, yeah. So that was just 2 days later.
Jesus.
All right, JK, have a great night. Thanks for being here. Cajun has the first Horseman book, so maybe
Whoa.
that was like a one shot, but then this is the first issue of the series. No?
What does that mean?
I could see Eric being like, well, so like we kind of forgot to put a number on this. So we're just gonna have it there, but we're gonna do this number one as a number one. But
There you
really,
go.
it was on purpose because you when you're born, you don't start off and you're born and you're one. Like you're born
and
a
you're
year
zero.
later, you're like one. Yeah.
So year 0 is welcome to Flores Park.
But yeah,
motherfucker.
we didn't do 0 either because technically if you're born, you're not 0. You're after
welcomed
0
into the
before
world.
1.
So if you're welcomed into the world, you're welcome to Flores Park.
You're going to define what the meaning of is. All right.
Yeah, what it is. MG says Eric has attacked his customers and fans. I mean, he does. He has called us detractors. So now I think a detractor would be someone who hates on Rippaverse just because they're a shit stirrer or just because they hate Eric. Sure, like detract away, and that's your prerogative, right?
For normal people, yes.
For normal people, yes. But detractors for Eric and anyone who is in that Rippaverse sphere tends to think that detractors are just anyone who literally poses any sort of criticism or like pushback.
I believe you meant to say anyone that doesn't suck his dick. Okay.
Oh, yes, of course. Yeah, that's right. Well, I got to give a huge shout out to our main man, Salty Traveling Sea, for 5 doll hairs. What is going on, brother? Thank you so much. We greatly appreciate it. Here, let me give you this. A big hail to you, Salty Traveling Sea. For $5, says Eric July, is the comics equivalent of Britney Spears with social media. Endless cringe. Did you see the art for the new Horseman? Laughing my ass off. And then a scotch. Well, here's to you. Cheers, brother. I don't have my scotch on me, but I'll cheers. The art for the new Horseman? I've not seen. I mean, we saw a couple of the different covers, I want to say. But I've not looked at the art in detail. I've not looked at it extensively. So maybe we should do that at another time. But Salty, always great to see you, brother. Hail to you, and cheers.
I bid you stand! Stand of the West!
I need to rewatch that again.
So speaking of Lord of the Cock Rings,
hey,
the Flicks Brewhouse, they're doing a like 1-2 night. Oh, I can't believe I'm admitting this. I feel so much shame. I am going with a friend of mine. We're going to go see Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, the 3.5-hour extended cut. So you're welcome.
Drew, my man.
Drewsy's gonna catch up on his sleep finally.
Yes.
Oh, well. I thought he was growing into a man. Oh, well, I mean, maybe you will just fall asleep in there, but no, I thought you were broadening your horizons and growing in your,
I thought you'd appreciate
journey.
it. I am going to go see it again in Flicks. So yeah.
I love it, man. That's awesome. Well, I can't wait to hear what you think about it.
So bear in mind, this is my first time seeing it since it first came out in theaters back in 02? Yeah, so over 23 years. My first time watching this in 23 years.
I think you're gonna like it. I hope
so. I hope so.
3.5 hours. It's a doozy. But
yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. Well, I'm excited. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And yeah, you'll have to let us know how it goes. Now, actually, speaking of Drew, I was going to say before we move on to our Daredevil topic, one of the things that I really appreciate about you as a creator and something that I know you've been more intentional about is the fact that whenever you post stuff, you always post your comics, right? You always post your writing or the work you're on or the cover or your art or the creator or like whatever it is, right? And it's always about the art. And I think that is very rare, but something that I really appreciate about you. And I think that it can sometimes be overlooked or not appreciated enough. And so I wanted to shout you out there because I think that is something that is not only really mature, but also very professional and truly what good business looks like. So yeah, I appreciate it.
I appreciate that. And Max, actually, I'm going to send you breaking news first for Unholy Nightmare 2.
Oh,
we've got Aurelio has just finished his cover for Unholy Nightmare 2. It's not colored yet, but it's on its way to you right now. It's coming in hot.
Sweet, dude. Coming in hot. Well, I will be ready to receive. Not in a gay way, but I'll be ready.
So I sent you the final inks, and I'm sending you the pencils as well, so you can see what those look like too when they
sweet, man.
go through eventually.
All right.
But yeah, no, you're right, Max. I appreciate that, and that's one thing I've made it a point to do. And I feel like when you do, I see a lot of people on Facebook, posting what they feel like about, regardless whether it's Elon Musk, Trump, or Chuck Schumer, whatever. I'm like, okay, that's great. I see where you're coming from. I'm not going to do it. That's great, but
yeah.
If I find it humorous, I'll respond with a emoji, like a smile emoji. That's all I'll do.
Oh yeah.
I respond to it, but I'm not going to share anything. I'm just going. It's just my work. That's all. It's all you're going to see from me. Everything I'm doing. That's all. That's what totally, I care about.
And you always have a platform here to always share, and showcase your thoughts and beliefs and your worldview and things like that. But even if you did or didn't, I do just respect the hustle of keeping social media to, for the most part, just being just about your work, which I think is pretty rad. So
keep it professional.
Yeah,
that's what you gotta do.
100%. Cajun Corey says, I'll be getting Unholy Nightmare 2. Well, thanks, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. And I know Drew appreciates it as well.
We appreciate it. And like what, I'm not sure if you saw Aaron's post when he talked about his review of the book so far. You guys are going to love it. We've worked so hard on this book. And it means a lot when Aaron says that someone thinks of things that you didn't think of to incorporate in the books or characters to incorporate. It's
Damn.
like, so yeah, it means a lot.
Okay, that's good stuff, man. Hell yeah. When you surprise Aaron Sparrow, that means you're doing something right.
100%.
Marvel Star Wars fanatic number 6 says, "What's up, guys? How are you gentlemen doing tonight?" I'm doing a little bit better now that I got out a little bit of my aggression towards the numbnuts that is a lot of the comic book retardation on X sometimes and within the Rippaverse. So doing a little bit better, but we're about to talk about a little bit more retardation with Daredevil episode 8. So let's get right into that. MG says Drew never had a character fall in a car yet. That's all I'm going to say.
All I'm going to say is, MG, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but in all of the 13 issues I've written so far of Unholy Nightmare, there will not be a single character falling on a car.
Oh, damn. Well,
and
I
Max,
guess,
speaking of which, I just sent you the images. You should have them now. I just texted them to you.
Ooh, good deal. All right, sweet, man. And then Cajun says, "I'm heading to bed. Good night, and got to go to work tomorrow night, guys. Later, dude. Have a good time at work. Sorry you got to work on a Saturday, but yeah. Thanks for being here again, Cajun, and I appreciate all the support, brother. So it is always appreciated, and we love seeing you here. And we'll see you next week, as well as we'll see you most likely in Dallas as well. So, well, while I bring these photos up, what did you guys? Well, we kind of got a little bit of Josh's take on Daredevil episode 8. What was your initial response to episode 8, Drew?
There, for some, I was watching. Look, it's a good episode. I'll say that it is a good episode. However, when I was watching it, especially like the last 10, 15, 20 minutes of it, I felt like I was watching like the last episode of season 3 of Daredevil. I'm like, this feels the same here. And maybe that was intentional. I don't know. But it felt the same. And some of the notes toward the end with the commissioner and BB, it felt very ham-fisted and lazy. But I did love the stuff with Bullseye. I don't think we got enough of it, unfortunately. The stuff with James Gandolfini's son, it's weak sauce. He needs to go. It's not working for me.
No.
But it's still a step in the right direction. I don't love it quite yet. I will say it's still good. I'm very curious to see where we go from here. Maybe BB is going to put on the Daredevil costume since Matt's now dead. But we'll see what happens.
One can only hope. It is Disney, in fact.
Yeah.
So, but you know what I can also hope for is Unholy Nightmare number 2. These are the pencils for is this cover A?
This we're not sure. We have a cover A. This will not be cover A.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is Aurelio's cover. This is Love and Rockets homage to the Hernandez brothers. And we felt it's very appropriate just to get the whole team together in a lineup. These are the Unholy Nightmares. First time together on the cover, and they're all going to be in this book, issue 2, for the first time. So
That's sick, man.
Yeah,
I love it. I actually, looking at his pencils, I almost like the pencils more, which is weird because normally you're like, you see an inked version and you're like, oh, the inked version is like that's the money shot. But I love seeing his his process of like shading and doing his illustrations in pencil. I think that's awesome.
He's insane. And and little fun fact, the cover will be available on the Kickstarter, the original art to get.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yep.
Well, MG was one of the ones to actually get the original art from the first campaign. So maybe he'll be getting in on that again. So, all right. So Josh, your take was that it felt like an actual television show episode.
Yeah, I mean, look, I thought there was a lot that was done pretty well here. I agree with Drew. I liked a lot of the bullseye stuff. I want more. I hope we get more. I think the similarity to the end of the season 3 makes sense because we're picking up from that. I mean, you left off with Bullseye kind of having qualms with both Matt and Kingpin. And I liked the reveal. I thought the last 10 to 15 minutes were like great because I genuinely didn't know who he was trying to kill. And for me, that created some tension. That for me created some nice excitement. And I was curious to see what was going to happen. Even though I hate BB as a character, and I'm not saying she's a good character, I thought this was the best that her character has been. And I agree with Drew. It was a little ham-fisted. I almost played that more on the actor playing the police commissioner.
Yeah, he was when she compared him to when he called her the Mr. Propaganda, which I thought was pretty apropos. But then she calls him something else, and he's like, "What?
Yeah,
no, I'm not. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, it was a little too kind of leaning comedic.
Yes.
But
so
other than that, I fucking hate Heather Glenn. I hate the character. I hate the actress.
So I want to make sure I understand this correctly. In the previous episode, she was pretty much near death, and she is up and about like nothing ever happened. We don't even see a cut mark or anything on her from the previous episode.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting a lot of time jumps that aren't explained very well. Because this next episode, you're going to get like a time jump as well. I don't know.
Oh God!
I mean, not a huge time jump, but you're going to have Matt out there fighting in the streets. So there's got to be some passage of time.
I was going to say because he looks like he's about to die, and BB's about to take over as Daredevil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll save my thoughts for just a moment. In just a moment.
What's Senor Kyle's thoughts?
Yeah, turd burglar. I've been waiting to hear what your thoughts about this for a while.
I really liked this episode.
Oh my lord!
What?
Was that my microphone?
Someone's making popcorn or something.
What do you mean?
Oh no! Oh no!
Fiddle faddle. Jesus!
I muted Kyle because I thought that it was coming from him.
You're the one.
No way did you get. Oh my god!
What are you talking about?
It's like real.
It's like $1.29 for a box.
Wait, you didn't steal that shit?
No, I'm the wrong. Never mind.
You're the wrong pigment for that.
Yeah.
No way did you buy Fiddle Faddle. Oh my god.
Cheap processed goodness. Sorry,
Is
Kyle.
it good? Does it taste good?
I'll bring us. I'm literally gonna bring some to Dallas. It's fine. Sorry, Kyle. I was waiting, all afternoon to do that joke.
You stepped all over Kyle's introduction for this episode.
No, it doesn't matter. Who gives a shit? It's fun. It's a good episode. I like this episode. I thought it was really good. Aside from some really cringy fucking dialogue at times, and but other than that, I love the cinematography at spots. And listening to an interview that the director had for this, the ending shot that they intentionally wanted to have originally sounded amazing, and then he said why they couldn't do it. I'm like, oh, that would have been so much better to have at the end. But aside from that, no, I really like this episode. I would say second best episode of the season so far. I still think episode 1 is better, but a hair better. But I really, really like this episode.
Oh my gosh!
Don't start, Max. You know you like this. Come on.
Sorry, I just had to I had to refocus my energy from the cringe that I'm getting from this panel tonight.
Oh, stop. You know it's good.
It's shot better. I mean, it looks like an actual show, but man, this dialogue continues to just be horrendous. Like horrendous. Matt and what's her name? Heather are having this conversation like they're trying to make it so deep, like it's trying to be a rooftop thing. And Heather not once will ask Matt about, she's talking about like, oh, they're just boys that are fighting, for their relevancy. And she knows that Matt is one of the best lawyers in all of New York, maybe in the States in general, for vigilantes. She doesn't consult him. She doesn't ask him. She doesn't talk to him about any of this stuff. And she's just like, yeah, they're just boys who wanted to fight. And he's like, Daredevil saved your life, bitch. And she's like, no, I saved my life. And you watch your tone with me. This
Hell
was
yeah, you go, girl.
abysmal.
Yes.
No, but I think
Oh my God,
no. But I think that's by design. I don't like. She's not supposed to be right. The intention is that she is wrong.
Do we want to hate her though? Because I despise her character.
I think so. I think they are very much like, fuck this bitch.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's kill her.
But it also kind of ruins Matt, because I'm just waiting for Matt to be like, Heather, how do you not understand the difference between a psychopathic incel and a man who is truly trying to do good for this city?
Because she has a vagina.
And Matt just doesn't want to tell her because he's like, I won't get laid if not.
Well, no, I think at this point, part of me feels like he realizes that there is the connection between her and Kingpin now. And I think it's very much he's leaning into like, what has he deemed like gleamed from you? They're falling apart. It's very clear these two are falling apart.
Yeah. Oh yeah, of course.
So,
and they make it abundantly clear throughout the episode, because she's constantly pulling this psychobabble bullshit of just like, oh, well, your trauma and, their trauma and they're just boys. And, you're not, embracing, or you're not interacting with me and all this stuff. It's like, never date a psychologist. But
I listened to her nag, and that is the appropriate word, nag, because she's a woman and she's nagging. And my first thought was, Jesus, the sex must be really good.
I mean, yeah, Matt's probably taking anything he can get at this point. So
after She-Hulk,
but
yeah, absolutely,
yeah, that's the thing. So, but no, it's frustrating because Heather doesn't know a damn thing about vigilantes, and yet she acts like she does. And like you said, Josh, maybe it's by design. Maybe the writers want us to hate her, and if that is the case, they're doing a very good job of that. But I think it also kind of ruins Matt's character in the process. So that's just my only worry. But so you guys liked Bullseye. I liked some of his action, but why is he afraid of being put in a Gen Pop? He should be fucking ecstatic that he gets put in a Gen Pop.
I don't think he's afraid.
I think he was just caught off guard. He was just like, wait, what's going on?
But he's like, I want to talk to my lawyer. I want to talk to Matt. And they're like, okay, yeah, well, okay, fine. Talk to Matt.
Yep, but he clearly staged, like, this was a way for him to get out. Like, he knew what he was doing.
Did it feel like Matt was in character by smashing his head into the table?
I think yes and no. Like, if you go back to season 2 when Matt went and visited Kingpin in prison, I do think he punched him at one point. So Matt has a problem of giving into it. Yeah.
And we gotta remember, as far as Matt knows, I mean, until we're told that that Foggy's in witness protection, this is the guy who killed Foggy, and Matt's gonna be keeping that pretty personal.
Yeah, and you have to keep in mind that Matt thinks when Matt gets called to the prison, he thinks there's Kingpin is pushing some type of plan.
Sure,
but
then,
he kind of. But then Bullseye's thing is like, someone's trying to fuck me over, and I'm going to figure out who it is. So how can I get out of here?
Yeah, and I think what was upsetting though is that like Matt was on the verge of getting an answer from him, and he let his anger get the best of him and just started smashing his head in the table. And granted, I get that that's, by design. The writers wanted that to happen so that Bullseye could lose his tooth and then spit it into the guard's eye. Like, I get it. But it just felt like Matt would have been more, because he says something to the effect of, how can I trust you? Matt, you can listen to his heartbeat. You can maybe play the how can I trust you? But in all actuality, you can listen to Bullseye's heartbeat and hear what he's saying or what he's thinking or saying about Foggy and whether or not he's lying.
Well, and that's to your point, Max. It's true because we saw that earlier in the episode, like 5 minutes prior, with that guy in the conference room that Matt heard was lying.
The guy who was extorting the teachers or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm gonna
go ahead.
I'm gonna attribute this to the fact that Bullseye is insane, and maybe that throws off Matt. Yeah. Like maybe he's telling the truth, maybe he's not. He probably won't be able to distinguish the truth from a lie with him.
Like a George Costanza. It's not a lie if you believe it.
If you believe it. Yeah.
Okay. Maybe.
Because he is legitimately insane in the membrane.
Yeah.
Okay.
Also, keep in mind that the whole heartbeat thing when someone's lying is their nervousness, their anxiousness, and I don't think Bullseye cares.
No,
like,
and honestly,
I don't think he's.
Yeah. If anything, he was excited when he got put in the Gen Pop.
Wait, say that again. Bullseye was excited to get into Gen Pop?
That's what I believe. If anything, he was excited to be put into Gen Pop.
Yeah, well, I think his whole like, oh, I'm not supposed to be. I think it's full on a ruse.
I didn't get anything that made me believe that though.
Oh, really? I mean, no, I really see like he's throwing off the guards and everyone like think, oh, he's afraid because he's gonna be outnumbered when they probably underestimate. It allows them to underestimate him when they realize just how dangerous he is by himself and how much more dangerous he is than all these jackasses around him.
But he keeps saying, he's like, I shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be doing this. And I was like, what?
He's doing that to throw them off. He's doing that to throw them off.
That's attributing a lot of goodwill to that, though.
Max, I understand, but we got to remember this guy. Go back to season 3. This guy is a trained FBI agent, so he knows. He knows, I'm sure how to interrogate someone, how to throw someone off. And that's what he was doing there in that scene. He was throwing off the guards and throwing off the prisoners to make it look like he's afraid, but he's not.
Kyle, what do you think?
Yeah,
I have to rewatch the scene. It's really hard to tell. Like I'm thinking back to when I watched it, and I was feeling what Max was. I'm like, why is he acting like a little bitch?
Yeah.
It was really bizarre to me. I'm like, you think he would be like, you guys realize this is just a buffet for me, right? If you put me in here, like I'm going to kill every one of these fucking people.
Dude, Hell yeah.
So I don't know.
For me, the tells were when he would smile. Like he'd have just that slight little smile of like, I don't know.
Maybe I'd have to rewatch it again to see if he does kind of have that cheeky smile. I just don't remember seeing it. Like I remember vividly just, him being, because if the thing that I remembered and the thing that I took from it was that he was just being a bitch the whole time, I don't know. But then we get, we finally get Fisk showing Vanessa where he's kept Mr. Hands. What did y'all think of Vanessa taking the first shot there and killing this guy?
Odd.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought it made sense. I mean, she's trying to make up for a lot right now.
Well, I think that was that was the question. I was like, does it make sense for her to do this? Because she's trying to show Fisk that she is part of him now.
Is she though? It's just like there's just something. It's like I don't completely trust her still. Maybe that's the point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, they're both criminals.
Well, yes, yeah.
But I mean, like at this point, like she worked with Fisk to kill Luca. Like they killed him, got him out of the way, and she made the comment like he was kind of like a wild card. So I get it, but like I felt like her shooting Adam here was like the olive branch of like let's just move on. But I think part of the reason she did such a drastic olive branch was because we then later find out that she was the one that was behind Foggy getting murdered. which we now know had something to do with whatever case he is working on. This is clearly going to go somewhere because there was no existence of this plot line being like, why was Foggy killed, other than like Bullseye getting revenge. But then the fact that she was the one that called for Bullseye to get put in Gym Pop, hoping he would get killed. Like,
oh, sorry, go ahead.
I mean, it's her clearly trying to do some type of saving grace, because I think she thought, I'm going to do this. If he gets killed, that kind of covers up loose ends concerning why I went after Foggy, which we don't know. But it also then covers up the, Bullseye's dead now, so that's out of the way, and we can just move forward. And we're clearly seeing that's not the case. It's not playing out. Like, she has failed.
What is funny, though, is that that doesn't seem like a very smart move, because, like, I don't know, in my opinion, it feels like if she were to want to kill Bullseye, she wouldn't release him to Gen Pop. Like, she would, like, because that would, if she knew Bullseye, he would have killed everyone in that bitch. You know what I mean? So maybe she was just not being smart, or just a last ditch effort. But
maybe she honestly, legit. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we'll find out she planned. She knew the whole time he would make it out. He would escape, and she was the mastermind of this whole thing. She tried to get Fisk shot by the final episode. She knew he would take the shot. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so, because she was going to, once they found out that Bullseye escaped, that's when she was about to start telling Fisk, like, I messed up. And that's when Matt overhears, and then he interjects before she can tell Fisk. Because Fisk doesn't know that he was moved to Gen Pop.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Because, like, they said the mayor made the move, but it wasn't Fisk. It was Buck. And Buck did it by her demand. So.
So that's kind of Vanessa. I was going to ask y'all then, the dialogue with Heather was just abysmal. And I know that these are new writers, this is the new team or whatever. But there were a couple different things that made me cringe like hell in this episode. And I wanted to see y'all's take on this, but it happened a couple times. So you've got Heather that says, I saved me. Muse and Daredevil were just two boys out for themselves. Heather also says, you want to watch your tone when you're talking to me, right? Like, just so condescending, total bitch. But then we also get BB at the party going, oh, my uncle used to always say, speak truth to power. I was like, who is writing this nonsense? Kyle's like, yeah, you go, girl, BB.
Yeah.
And then we get mention of freaking Fiddle Faddle. Matt is having this existential crisis. He's got this full-blown meltdown in the middle of his law firm. And who does he mention? He's like, I can't help anyone. I can't even help Fiddle Faddle over here. The fact that
Leroy Jenkins.
That shit, Leroy Jenkins. I couldn't help him. The whole system's screwed up.
I was like, why?
Whoa.
Like, it's bad enough that you had to keep that episode. Like, why bring it up?
Why are we even acknowledging that is something that's real?
Yeah, just ignore it.
It's real, because it's true.
Because it hits to the to your core.
Yeah.
So all that stuff, though, it kept me from really getting into the episode, because it kept pulling me farther and farther away. Like, every time Heather would say something, or the Leroy Jenkins, or the speech of the power.
I feel like you're taking the Heather stuff as if this is the accurate thought on Daredevil and the masks, and I think you're supposed to be like, bitch, sit down.
Maybe, yeah. I hope.
I didn't hold any weight to what she said, because I'm like, you were so wrong, and you were so stupid, and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. I mean, I can only hope that the writers are trying to get me to hate Heather, because, I mean, that's where I'm at right now. So,
I mean, notice that Matt pays her less and less and less attention as the episode goes on. Like I think she is a means to an end for him at this point.
Yeah.
Like most men, you're just tuning her out by the end. He wasn't even listening to her.
Are you even listening to me? And he's
What?
like trying to find valid information from Fisk, and he's like, "What? No, what?" Yeah, he's listening in on Fisk's conversation with the swordsman and stuff, and she's just like, "Feels like you're not even here." Like, okay, yeah, all right, whatever. What else? I'm just looking at my notes here. There was okay, so we get his crisis of conscience, and I know we kind of talked about this kind of briefly, but this definitely felt more like a episode 2 of the season, and rightfully so, because technically this is episode 2 of the season, weirdly enough, if we are to take all the other, BS episodes out. So this technically could be episode 2, but Matt really is having a crisis here. Nothing is going right for him right now, or nothing is going well. And it seems like this is kind of the Born Again comic where everything is kind of crumbling. But then for the rest of the season, I feel like we should have seen him building himself back up, which we just didn't get, right? So another point for me that was taken off, that I was like, I get what the circumstances was, but at the same time, if we're looking at this just as a product with no outside influence, that hurts it, because this shouldn't. He should be having his crisis of conscience episodes ago, right?
Well,
but
the only thing I would say is keep in mind that this was ideally like not even the halfway point of season 1.
Right.
It was it was originally supposed to be 18 episodes for the first season, all dropping simultaneously, and then writer strike and changing the guard and everything, and that whole mess. They kept a mess. They have to live with the mess they kept with. But I think part of the reason this feels like a second episode is because this is the first episode. I mean, aside from the Muse stuff, which I guess we got to do something with. I wish they wouldn't have wrapped it up like they. Well, I mean, it was done. It was filmed, but I mean, this is them kind of being like, okay, well, we've had 6 episodes of non-story. Let's take what we set up in the pilot that we created to try to make some type of overarching story and pick up this pile of shit and carry it somewhere. And look, they may not succeed. They may not stick the landing. There's too much to do with one episode to be like, oh, this is a great season. It's really going to be, can you salvage this enough to get people interested to come back to season 2? And I don't know if they can.
I don't know if they can either, because even this episode, like, if this is what we are expecting quality-wise from season 2, sure, it looks like a real TV show, but I still feel like the dialogue is lacking.
And not just that, and to your point, the numbers are out for the viewership.
Oh, yeah, they're
not good.
Yeah.
They're in the garbage. They're terrible. And if anything, they're only going down. So by the time we get to season 2, who knows how few people are still watching this?
Right. No one. Because, I mean, this is one of Disney Plus's worst shows they put out.
Which hurts.
Oh, you mean numbers-wise?
Yeah, numbers-wise. Which hurts.
Josh is like, are you high?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, I still think it's bad, but I don't think it's the worst. So.
Yeah, it's bad. It's not the worst, but it's just the fact that it has lower viewership than the Agatha, which is fucking low.
Yeah,
it's embarrassing.
I think we also have to collectively look at what they accomplished within this episode. Like, what are the things we've hated the most about this season so far? Heather, right?
Fisk. Well, Heather, and then the Fisk therapy sessions.
Right. So what are 2 things that are ending completely based on this episode? We're
Matt
ending
and Heather's
therapy sessions. They're like, we don't need this anymore. Get rid of it. The Matt and Heather relationship, they're effectively ending. BB, which I don't like, and I'm still not crazy about. I do like the fact that they had enough wherewithal to we've got to make her feel somewhat competent, not just some kid with a video camera going out in the streets and posting shit,
filming people in the streets. Yeah.
So her being like, hey, like, I write with, this isn't the only name I use. I have other names, if you know what I mean, which isn't her saying like, I have a pseudonym. It's her saying like, I'm trying to get information to leak out. Do you know, like, that was the, do you know what I mean? And that to me felt like a confident person trying to do journalism rather than some kid being like, look at me with the camera. Oh my God. People in New York. Oh my God. So
God, could you imagine what that first TV show would have been like?
God. I do think it steps in the right direction, but we're still, unfortunately, still cleaning up the shit.
Yeah.
So,
and I think that's for me, the frustrating part is because like, I wanted them to just go all out, but there are so many loose ends that they have to tie them all. And that takes for fucking ever. And it's going to be bad because they're given shit and you can't really polish it to be gold.
And we spent so much time wasted on getting a bank loan from Kamala Khan's dad.
Yeah.
Or discussing about the swordsman. Who gives a shit?
Yeah, or Leroy Jenkins. Like, none of that shit matters. Yeah.
Yeah. I think, though, I mean, the swordsman's supposed to be there, I think, entry level for vigilantes. Because if rumors are true, this whole attack on vigilantes carries on into next season. And that's when you're going to see, you know, them pressing against Jessica Jones and pressing against Luke Cage. Like, all those characters are supposed to be coming back, which it could be keychain or it could work. Jessica Jones is definitely coming back for sure.
Oh yeah, she needs to work. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But
so then,
you know, what I will say though is I felt like this episode did a good job of trying to show how they tried to make it look like there was like arcing stories for these characters here. But where you would typically have 8 episodes at this point to build those arcs, they were literally like, hey, remember this character in this one episode? This is why we're trying to make them relevant. Remember this character? We're trying to make them relevant. Like, that's what I felt like they were attempting to do here. Notice I said attempting. It makes me think, had they had a full 8 episodes to try to let that arc happen, you would have had something that felt more reminiscent to what we saw on Netflix.
Yeah.
I noticed it didn't show the female Asian cop, so she's not relevant. Got it.
Thank good.
God.
Yeah. She's the bestest ever.
Yeah. Best joke maker ever.
Yeah, for sure. The hostage negotiator who is supposed to be the level-headed one, and the first thing she says on the radio is, "You're either coming out of there in a body bag or handcuffs." And you're just like, Jesus.
You're one step away from Will Ferrell and the other guys. Jesus.
Yes, yeah, no, like, you've got to be kidding. These writers are atrocious.
Calm down, Tiger Mom. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So Marvel Star Wars fanatic, I always want to say fanfic for some reason. Marvel Star Wars fanatic says the directors of the show say that there will be an incredibly violent thing that happens in the finale. What do you all think that will be? Maybe something Punisher or Kingpin does. I'll actually throw this one to Kyle because, you know, obviously we're talking cops, and I'm assuming that what we're going to be dealing with in this last episode is most likely going to be cops. But Kyle, I don't know. Do you think if there's anything that is incredibly violent, what we might get with that?
Yeah, I think it might be a Punisher going after this group of cops and setting them straight, because these loose cannons out here putting people's hands in deep fryers, it's not going to stand.
That cannot happen on my watch.
No,
never.
Stand down.
Back the blue.
I answered to the mayor.
I mean, I did think that was kind of funny.
Yeah.
I did like that he put his hand in the fryer and he's like, yeah, stand down. He's like, I don't fucking answer to you. I mean, because he's right. He's like,
hey.
if your boss is Mayor Fisk, kind of do what you want.
I don't know. Like, yeah, but you're still a cop and a commissioner's still in charge of you, so.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, whatever.
This is more probably TV cops than actual law.
Correct.
Yeah.
It's police cops, yes.
Police cop show, TM.
Yeah, I wish they would have done something like had one of them, the cops, like call another cop or something that was maybe sitting outside his family home. like Cinepic. Like
there you go.
You know, other than being like, "Oh, we answered America," like that was one of the ham-fisted lines. I agree.
We do what we want around here. Yeah, just shoving dudes' faces in the frying pan or frying oil. All right, so we've got that. Oh, and then I was going to ask, what did y'all think about the ending where we find out that it was, in fact, Vanessa who killed Foggy? What do we think the repercussions of that are going to be? And do we even like that Vanessa was the one who killed him? Because I really don't feel this. Yeah, I don't feel a certain way about it. I have to watch the next episode, but I just was kind of like, okay, let's see where this goes.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I was just like, oh, okay, we'll see. All right.
Mm-hmm. Well, moving on. I am going to run to the restroom real quick, but if you guys want to kind of give final thoughts on the episode or our final scores, out of 10, for me, I think I got to keep it in like the 4. The weird thing is that
go take a deuce.
Will you stop? Grow up.
This didn't seem better or worse. It just seemed like okay,
it's better.
We're still going out. We're still doing this. Okay. So
Do you need to watch episode 4 again and then rewatch this episode to compare?
Potentially.
I think you should.
Yeah, because I'm trying. Yeah, that was pretty bad. Leroy Jenkins was by far the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Let me think about it, and I'll come back. I'll be right back.
Hey, y'all, poor people food's kind of addicting. I'm not even hungry. It's just right here, and I can't stop eating it.
That's how they get you.
That is. I got the diabetes from Fiddle Faddle. I was going to say something. I don't remember what it was. No, I think it's a solid episode. I would give it a 6 to a 7. I think there's a lot of stuff that it does right. It's, again, I feel like they're still trying to correct the... It's like when you read a comic and you have a new creative team come on in that first issue, they're still kind of having to deal with the mess that the bad creative team left them with before they can really move forward. That's what I feel like this episode kind of was. But you still see signs of this could be better. Do I think it's going to be perfect? No. Do I think this new creative team is even going to live up to the original Netflix series? No. But I think it's going to be miles better than what we've been getting, especially from a long-form storytelling. So that's my stance. And as much as I don't think James Gandolfini's son is a good actor, I did like the line when he told the black lady, I used to care what you think or what you thought about me. Not so much anymore. I thought that was a really good line. Next. Did Drew die?
What?
Drew, what are your thoughts? Overall thoughts and score?
It's still a step in the right direction. If not, you know what? I'll say this. It's not even a progressive step. It's still at the same level. It has neither gone up nor gone down at this point. It is leveled right now. I still need it to do that thing to make it feel like a previous Daredevil season. Like, for example, when we saw Bullseye go into Gen Pop, if we just saw like a 5-minute montage of Bullseye in clever and creative, bloody ways killing half the people in Gen Pop, I've been like, bravo, best episode of the season. We didn't even fucking get that. And I feel like that is a wasted opportunity right there. And for that, I still got to give it. It's a level episode. It hasn't gone up or gone down. So I got to give it. I don't know what to give the last episode. 6.5, maybe 7. It's still right around there. I'm just waiting for it. I'm still waiting for that. All it needs is this one kick-ass moment that we can all gather around. This didn't have it.
7, that's high.
Well, no, I'm going to say 6.5. I'm 6. I'll
Okay.
go with that.
Okay. Sorry, Josh, I didn't hear the score you gave it.
I mean, I had said 6 to a 7, so I mean, I guess that falls to 6.5.
Okay. Kyle, I know you just absolutely loved Heather in this episode and BB, so I'm sure this will just be your magnus opus or whatever you want to call it.
Having marginalized voices in a show is so refreshing.
Here we go.
It's nice to see strong, independent, colored women get a voice.
Finally.
Yeah. And a correct voice at that. The voice of reason. So much needed.
That of one that puts down other people. So
correct.
As they should.
But no, this was a good show. I commented and I love the cinematography. I also loved the color and how this was shot. Like even from the opening shot, it's darker toned, dark muted, dark blues. This show has been so fucking bright and vibrant. It's so annoying. Actually being able to see it from it's like, okay, they have the color palette correct here. Thank God. So like I knew it was off to a right start. This episode did way more right than it did wrong. Yes, we can point out a few things of dialogue that suck, but that being said, it got more right than it did wrong. It had a good cliffhanger. I want to come back for the next episode. Like this is easily a 7 out of 10, for sure.
Oh, easily! Wow,
easily.
Oh man. So what's your score for the original Daredevil seasons? For like the episodes of those original Daredevil shows?
Individually? What do you mean?
Yeah, like would one episode garner the same 7 score, or would you rate it to be like an 8 or a 9?
Oh yeah, no. The first 2 seasons are great. Season 3 is dog shit, so some of those would probably be way less than this. So
yeah.
So yeah, and no. Season 1 and 2 are definitely, a lot of those are well above this.
Okay, because I always have to like, I don't know. Whenever I score stuff, I score it on the low end so that I have room to score it something high when it deserves to be high. You know, because if I'm scoring everything like well, I will agree with you that it's shot better, and I will agree with you that the tone of this feels completely different. The editing, the storytelling, and the pace of this just feels like a different show. But the writing still feels the same. And I think it's just because they're still having to tie the loose ends from the shit that came before. So, but it does feel like there's still just a lot of damage here that's been done. So
yeah.
I'm still gonna keep it at like a 4 or a 5. So
Wrong.
I think Drew, I think you said that this show is going in the right direction.
Well, when I said that, I corrected myself. It's that if I'm gonna compare this to like a stairwell, you'd like to say it's a progressive step up in the right direction. But right now, it's still. I corrected myself saying that it hasn't really taken a step up. It's stayed level as compared to the last episode. It hasn't really improved. And like if it had like a 5-minute montage, like we would get these awesome fight sequences like we had gotten in the first 3 seasons of Daredevil. We haven't really gotten any of those except for the first episode. And if they were, like I said, if there was a 5-minute montage of Bullseye having a blast in Gen Pop, I would have said this is easily the best episode of the season. But
no, narratively, that would have done exactly what Bullseye doesn't want. It would have put him right back in isolation.
Yes,
like
true.
So like you.
Yeah, I understand.
I mean, if I would say there's one major problem still with this episode, it's that there's no Daredevil.
Yes.
And that's where I'm saying, like, if you pace your arc, your season better, you'll have Daredevil in every episode doing something as Daredevil. But it wouldn't have made sense for him to operate as Daredevil then like within the where we start and where we finish this episode, there wasn't anything for Daredevil, unfortunately.
And clearly, I mean, we know the problems, the reshoots, everything being reshot behind the scenes. It's clearly evident after watching these episodes a couple times that whereas when you with the first 3 seasons where you could tell there was a narrative progression through the episodes, there was a connectivity. In these episodes, you tangentially kind of see it, and then there are episodes that clearly have nothing to do with anything that's happened in the previous episodes. See the bank episode, and this season just feels like a narrative mess.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I mean, I try to look at it, and look, this isn't me making excuses for the show. This isn't me saying that the show's great, but I look at it as if I were coming in and I had what we got as episodes 2 through 7. If that was handed on my plate and I was told, hey, you get 3 episodes to try to make this a cohesive thing, I'd be like, what the fuck? Sure, man. So I applaud them for that. Again, I don't think it's perfect. But
they're trying to make chicken salad out of chicken shit, and they're doing the best they can.
Well, I sure hope the best that they can is better than this, because I better see something in this next episode, or I'm blaming Kyle for the past 9 live streams that we've had to do this for.
Because remember, we had a week with 2 episodes. We had 2 weeks with 2 episodes.
We had 2 weeks with 2 episodes.
So
all right.
7 live streams.
Look at that. All right. Well then,
you're welcome.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Well, then maybe I shouldn't fire Kyle after all.
You know what? I really kind of want y'all to go through and watch Secret Invasion now, because I think it'd be hilarious.
Oh, God. That is not it. There's
hilarious.
After I heard a
go ahead.
reviewer compare it to Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, I am not watching that. I refuse to believe that.
Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy is like Chef's Kiss compared to what Secret Invasion is. It is so bad.
Wild. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to justify even the most amount of super chats I've even gotten on this channel. I don't know if I could do that for that amount of money.
$2,000. We'll do it.
No, yeah, okay. I'll set my goal to $2,000 in the chat. That'll mean that we'll never watch it, which I guess is a good thing then. Well, you know, we did have to watch / read though. And gosh dang it, if we didn't think that they would be back, they are in fact back.
God damn it.
Yay! Yeah, God. Oh man. So how do you even start off the context for this? Like 2023 rolls around, Fire and Ice comes out, and it is by far the worst thing I've ever read in my life, barring the Mother of Madness book by Emilia Clarke. This may be, in fact, the worst thing I've ever read. And we had it pretty consistently in our top 5, I want to say, of the worst comics of 2023 or 2024. I forget which one it was.
I think it was 2023.
It was both.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah.
I fell into both, I think, for all of us. So,
and how amazing that it may even fall into 2025 as well.
You mean May? No, there's no. After reading this issue, it will.
Yeah. And we've got plenty more where this came from. But I was flabbergasted that the worst book I've ever read came back in full force. It's here, and it's here to stay, and it was revived. Now, I don't know if that was because of sales or because of fan attraction. I don't know what, but they clearly love this book, or DC, I mean. DC loves this book. But, man, this could... Now, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself. How would one even go about explaining what happens in this book? Because I don't know if you guys remember, like the best.
Here's the thing, Max. Nothing. this is another example of a narrative mess. We just go from a montage to montage to montage, and then, we got a weird, quirky ending. It's just that's what happens here. And oh yeah, I forgot. There's a landlocked tropical island in Kansas now. Isn't that cool and funny?
Isn't that funny, guys? That's
Isn't
hilarious.
that goddamn fucking hilarious?
Yeah.
A landlocked tropical island.
Isn't funny that Martha Kent owns her own like casino?
Yeah. Also, you've got the salon on fire, and then there's people actively getting their haircut while the salon is burning down around them.
Oh my god. This book defies all logic and reason. And I know people like to say, "Oh, it's just comics. It doesn't matter." No, that stuff still matters. So
I want to pause for a second, and I would like to take us back to December 11th, 2024, where in our group chat, I texted and said, "Get ready, boys. Guess what DC gave the green light for next year?"
Oh
and
my God.
Max sent a shocked face. And I sent a picture of this cover and put season 2 is coming 2025. And Max said, "Shut the fuck up." And I went, "Not joking, ... And he put no way crying emoji. And I just went, "Yep."
That's accurate. That is very accurate.
Now, the other thing I want to talk about with this book, specifically in this series and this writer, this is something you would expect in an indie book. This is very, very niche indie humor, and by that I mean very, very lowbrow and very head-slappingly stupid humor, which is very much in the indie vein. And the fact that this is mainstream now, this is a mainstream DC Comics book, that just spells fucking trouble for DC Comics in the mainstream. If you're putting these quirky indie books and you're showing us, this is our best and brightest, that's a damn problem.
Yeah, it's pretty.
And you have the Dodsons on the main cover, Rachel and Terry Dodson. God,
well, they got to do something to try to sell copies. I mean, that is the only selling aspect here. So
the cover is really nice.
The cover looks great. I mean, they're great. They're great artists. But
I hate this is exhausting.
Yeah,
this whole book is exhausting.
I would rather be on the treadmill for an hour than read this again.
Hey, you're so much more. Yeah, there are so many more benefits to being on the treadmill for an hour than this, even though it's painful. Real quick, I got to shout out Nadia, our beautiful girl Nadia. She says, "MVP has made me sad. Vegas without Max and Josh is going to be so lame." That's right. That's true. We are the life of the party.
So. Lamer than Xavier's legs.
Yeah, and she got exactly what she wanted. So look at that bad boy. Those bunions, baby.
Those little piggies. Yeah.
But yeah, great to see you, Nads. We will not be going to Vegas this year, unfortunately. But it is Easter weekend, and the Lord comes first. So, well, unfortunately, this comic has no mention. Like I was gonna try and make a funny joke that God has abandoned us by reading this comic, and I was like, no, that's not funny. But it really does feel like, God, this is heinous, abysmal. And I think the reason why is because it's poorly constructed, poorly written, just annoyingly poor dialogue and story progression. The art is at least a little bit better than the last series. That last series art was dog doo-doo. Like some of the worst art I've ever seen. At least this is somewhat, I don't want to say cohesive, competent.
Is this not the same artist?
No, I don't think so.
I thought it was.
I think it is.
And she just changed her style?
Maybe she's got a better colorist, or maybe a better...
Hold on. Go.
It's something to change it a little bit. I don't know who.
Stephen Byrne.
Who did the first?
let's go Fire and Ice, and it's going to be Welcome to Smallville.
Yep.
And it's going to be issue number 1, and it's not Steven because it's Natasha Bustos.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Because look at this. Ugh.
Yeah.
But like I said,
totally
all of this, the art and everything, this is all. I would expect this. I mean, no offense to Fantagraphics, but this is very much a Fantagraphics indie book that would be sold to like maybe 100 people at the most.
Yeah, it's niche of the niche.
Yes.
But there's a point. Well, I guess I'll say the plot, quote unquote, of this comic is Fire and Ice. Their powers have swapped
from obsolete power. Yep.
From obsolete power. And so because their power swapped, they're trying to navigate that through this quirky, weird, we're back in Smallville and we have to deal with our powers, but we're like 2 young girlies and we're just trying to navigate life. Which is just, I want to die.
Clifford and Shirley.
Yeah. But not only that, Fire invites Zatanna to this big magic night where
Party.
they're doing karaoke. Yeah. And she finds and where she finds a monkey's paw and wishes that Fire and Ice have their powers back, but in so doing that, the monkey's paw, of course, swaps keeps their powers but swaps their bodies. So now instead of them having the opposite powers, they not only now have the opposite powers, but they also have the opposite bodies.
And they're remarking how nice their breasts are, which is, shows their priorities.
Yes, 100%. Which
it's literally the first thing they notice. First thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and then this is just, Martha owns a hotel and casino inside Smallville. It's just, what are we even doing? But Josh's favorite scene was this one. So we get a guest of Smallville, and he goes to the hair salon, and he's like, "Yeah, nice to meet you. I'm looking to get a haircut, and I was suggested to come here." But he never mentioned that the area was so diverse, though. Very cool, very cool. And she goes, "Thanks." And he says, "Hey, selfie." And he puts hashtag Black Lives Matter, Black Girl Magic, Melanin Community, and support Black-owned businesses. Based.
Yep.
It's so important to support Black-owned businesses. And she's like, right. That's why I want to open a bunch of co-working spaces out here. So Black entrepreneurs like you, who may not have the funds for a whole office. And then she's like, you blow? What? You blow dry your hair? Ha ha ha. So funny. Nah, I keep it natty. You should open a place in Metropolis, A black hair place would do real good there.
God damn it.
Except there's not one already in fucking Metropolis.
Yeah. And then he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry. Would you prefer African American?" She goes, "I would prefer to be treated like a person and not some status symbol for your performative wokeness." Whoa, I'm an ally. I don't even date white women. But it just shows how hypocritical a lot of these writers are. Is because if they truly,
not just that, the banter sucks. There is no banter.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
It's not even realistic.
It's like this is what a 14-year-old
says
imagines in their head. This is what they say on Twitter, or the imagined conversation they're having in high school. It's like, it's bullshit. Yeah. But even if this were the case, where this guy was a real dude and he was like, Black girl magic, all the women in this hair salon would be like, yes, king, you're the best.
Queen. Go slay.
A Ghost Slay, like I feel like whenever that Black Girl Magic stuff came out in Marvel, all the Marvel stands were like, "Oh my god, yeah, Queen Slay, I love it." So it feels hypocritical that this guy is in fact doing that, but because he's white, they're like, "Oh, I want your performative wokeness."
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I hate this book.
yeah, it sucks. It's pretty terrible.
Yeah.
The banter is awful. The dialogue is abysmal. The artwork, like I said, is a bit better. But Drew, to your point, this book should be sold to like 100 people, maybe. And it's just a bunch of overweight lesbians who don't actually like comics, but like the idea of comics.
And Maxi Poo, can we go to League of Comic Geeks and see some 5-star reviews for this?
Oh God.
No. Do we dare?
Yeah, let's do it. While he's pulling that up, I'll also remind everyone this is supposed to be the Schitt's Creek for DC Comics, and I'm like, not even close.
That's embarrassing.
Not even close.
Kyle, did you have a take on Fire and Ice?
I liked it.
Shut up. You shut your mouth. Yeah.
You cuck.
What are you talking about? I'm an ally.
Oh yeah, that's true.
You know what?
Kyle is
Thanks.
an ally,
That's true. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that.
Hashtag Black Girl Magic Lives Matter.
Exactly.
Oh, do you prefer African American?
that is kind of funny, but it would be funny if it wasn't disingenuous in then how they're presenting it.
Correct. Also, did this guy get graped?
Well, here's the so he has an attraction with fire, but then he sleeps with ice. But then there's this whole thing where she realizes she's actually fire because this is when you have the body swap, and he's like, "Oh my god!" So you are fire, and she's like, "Yes." He's like, "Oh, thank God." So he actively chose to hook up with ice because he wasn't gonna get it from fire, but then it ended up being fire. So did he get raped or did she get raped? Like, it's just a weird scene. Also, he's handicapped. So, like, not to say wheelchair dudes can't get it, but...
Whoa, handy-capable.
Handy-capable.
Oh, that's the ally talking.
Emphasis on handies. Yeah.
Yeah, does his unit work?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like...
The other thing that... The other funny thing that they have him, but because they wouldn't have her actually hooking up with a white guy unless he had some sort of disability about him. But I think one of the funny things they did have in here is they called him the town himbo, and I was like, "Ooh, if you ever called any woman a bimbo in your comic book, there'd be hell to pay at DC."
Can we figure out why he screams when he sees her in bed, though? Because it's very clearly what he sees is the person he went to bed with.
Wait, but did he go to bed with fire?
No, because they had like body swaps. Like their physical body stayed the same. Like the physical presence that was there with him was Isa's physical presence.
But he goes, "I'll go talk to her." And then he goes off to apparently go talk to Fire because they've been kind of a fling.
Well, regardless, Max, it is piss poor storytelling. That's what it is.
Yes, yeah, well, that is true. Yeah. What else was piss poor storytelling was that G.I. Joe book. I couldn't see a GD thing in that book.
That is bullseye.
Yeah, that's bad.
That artist is clearly... The sad thing is, I don't think that artist had help telling that story, and that person stuck at their job helping them being able to tell the story with their art.
Yes, yeah, and that was the thing. It was like the storytelling with the art was awful. So this is Stephen Byrne, the artist. Look at the dead eye, because he knows. He's like, God, I had to illustrate the interiors of Fire and Ice. Just got dead eyes. His face is just so distraught from having to illustrate Fire and Ice. I feel bad for him.
He looks like one of those that he probably loved doing this, I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, no, that's true. Well, okay, it's been a hot minute since I've read the other Fire and Ice mini, so I can't make any comparisons yet. However, I feel like the strongest part of this comic is definitely the connection between Bee and Tora. I'm not in the ensemble cast, nor am I invested in the JLI callbacks. Ooh, I don't like the use of lingo like himbo. So someone didn't like himbo. Nor do I care much for blah, blah, blah. Not a lot of 5 stars. Here's a 3.5-er. Here's a 4. Pure innocent fun. I wasn't looking forward to this based on the Welcome to Smallville miniseries, but this issue alone has a lot of little bits to love. While I'm not a big fan of Fire and Ice overall, I do hope they get some moments to shine and build a 4 stars for that though? Mostly negative. This was a blast. What are you people on? So
Agreed.
I guess this Kyle. I guess this used to be mostly negative, but now it's mixed. Just like the race of people in this book. I thought it was pretty fun and cute. Tora and Bee getting to follow up on the Absolute Power ending wasn't something I'd have predicted. 4 stars. Bruh.
Oh.
This comic is really awesome if you love peace and light and happiness and friendship and most importantly, women. So if you hate it, I'm going to go ahead and assume you hate all of those things. 5 stars.
That was my review.
Oh, God.
Did I read it correctly? Was that your inflection while writing this?
It was a little fast, but yeah.
Jesus. This is a real person. This person actually lives among us. The sad fact is there could be a very real
Learning disability.
Yes, yeah, and that's why I don't want to make fun of this because there actually really could be a genuine disability.
A very real tardation. Can you click on their profile? Does it take you to more reviews?
Do I want to though?
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, we got to go down
For
this
you,
road.
left one for Scarlet.
First of all,
that's a lot of 5 stars.
Their name is Spectral Bat, so that makes me think Spectrum.
That's what I thought. Spectrum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Spectrum Bat.
Well, just you're like on the spectrum.
Yep.
Yeah. A Damien story showing empathy and understanding to Talia's character instead of demonizing her. Yay!
It's like Spectrum Bat. You do realize she raped Bruce Wayne, right? That's all I'm going to say. You do realize that,
no.
right? Yeah. No,
She
you
did.
didn't. Okay.
Scorpion calling Matt sweetheart and pretty boy made me giggle. Why is the dialogue like this?
They're on the spectrum. They are on the spectrum, clearly.
We got to take the internet away from this person.
No more internet for you.
Yeah.
For Scarlet, issue number 1. This was great. I really enjoyed it. Action-packed, but with a strong emotional through line. Everything you want in a comic book issue. I don't know anything about G.I. Joe, but I'm a huge fan of Thompson's Black Widow run. So I'm going to self-indulgently pretend this is a continuation of that as long as I possibly can. Yay.
What the fuck does that even mean?
5 stars.
What?
5 stars. You heard me.
Whoa, 1 star. Whoa, 1 star. They gave a book 1 star. What the hell was that?
The Human Target.
Whoa. You can't hate Tom King.
Ooh, half stars for Human Target.
Wow.
Wait, but yeah. Justice League number 41. This is probably the greatest comic ever written. Why? 5 stars?
Probably.
Probably, right? But my God, man. Why does this read like this was written on the back of a short bus?
Because it was.
Yeah.
No punctuation, by the way. This comic is really awesome if you love peace and light and happiness and friendship and most importantly women, comma, So maybe there is punctuation. So if you hate it, comma, I'm going to go ahead and assume you hate all of those things. Well, then good.
They just don't know. They just don't know how to use punctuation. That's great. You have it in there, but you don't know how to use it.
Yeah. If you love peace and light and happiness and friendship, what about this book eludes any of those things or exemplifies any of those things? Peace and light.
Everything, you bigot.
And happiness, and most importantly, women. There's a lot to break down in this.
And
Most
light, and
important.
there is sunlight in the book. It is very bright. I agree. Yes.
The book is very bright. Yes, that's very true. But most importantly, women. I will date a woman. I'm going to assume you hate all of those things. Well, yeah, I mean, that's probably good to assume.
You assume correctly.
I was about to say.
Yeah, all I have to say is this. Oh, no. It's not working.
No.
Okay, my bad. Carry on.
Were you going to play the I'm not gay no more? No?
No.
You know what was, though? G.I. Joe, Ara, Silent Mission, Jinx. So this book you could read in 22 seconds.
Or try to. It won't make
sense.
sense.
Is a much better way to say that.
It's a great cover.
Why? A great cover, eh? Drew, why do you say try to read this book, though?
So the thing is, when you should, it really isn't a rule across the board, but you should be able to tell a story without the dialogue. Clearly be able to tell what's happening. And this artist is not a clear enough artist to tell what is happening. They are a messy, bland, vague artist. It's hard to tell at certain points what is going on. And Frank Miller does a better job of telling a story without dialogue than this artist can. And it's pretty sad. And they had Dan Waters helping them out, and clearly that didn't help either. And this is the second of 2 silent books so far that they have done, and this is only slightly better than the I think was it Shipwreck? It wasn't Shipwreck in the previous one. I forget who it was, but both have been not that good.
But what do you mean, though, Drew? I mean, every page is a second of her escaping this Hydra or Cobra or snake pit thing. And so we get to see every second. That's exhilarating.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, if I would have... the art just doesn't do it for me. I'm going to be honest with you. I understand it. I appreciate the style. I acknowledge the style, but they just don't do a good job telling a story.
Who do you think does a better job with sequential storytelling? This person, I think their name is Danny. Is that right?
Yeah.
Or Perberg, otherwise known as Narwhal.
I'd say Narwhal.
I don't know, man.
I can make out bodies in this. I don't know if I can make out bodies in Perberg.
Hey, that's the thing.
Well, okay, real quick about Narwhal. Real quick about him. I will say, if you compare his stuff now to where it looked 3-4 years ago, he took a quantum leap in his art style, because
that's terrifying.
Oh yeah, look at it like 3 or 4 years ago. You're like, what the hell am I looking at?
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And we'll talk about it after this one, because I do get that it is an artistic choice, but oh man, there were so many times where I was reading Vatican City where I was just like, what? I could not make sense of it.
Can we let's move on? Let's talk about that, because I do want to talk about that book. I do.
Wait, but we're almost done with our 22 seconds of G.I. Joe: The Silent Issue.
Before we do that, because I will say silent issues are really hard to come across, and if you're gonna do a silent issue, you need to have like some of the best artists, not necessarily aesthetic like the pretty images type look best, but someone who can do visual storytelling. Like that's what Drew's talking about. You've got to have someone that can do sequential art and do it well. Is there a silent issue from a book that you guys think is done well?
The G.I. Joe, the very first one with Snake Eyes. That is clearly one of the best. Another great one is the Frank Miller Sin City Christmas issue. I think it's called like Silent Night, Sin City Silent Night. That's another great one. I know Marvel did like some Nuff Said ones back in the early 2000s, but those don't really stick out. But honestly, those two stick out as the best. The G.I. Joe Snake Eyes one and the Sin City one.
To be 100% transparent, I don't think I've ever read a silent issue. So
really,
this one.
Well, okay, well, yeah, the bar. So then the bar is very low.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, I haven't even actually read the first original G.I. Joe silent issue with Snake Eyes. I haven't gotten a chance to read that yet.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah, I'm a fake fan, fake geek girl. But I do hear that it's pretty amazing. So, funny enough, that was actually the first comic I think the comics division had ever read. Because I remember talking to him in Vegas. Yeah. And he said he was like, as I was a kid, my vision wasn't as good or something. And so that was one of the first comics he read, and he was able to actually read it. And so it just became something that he was so passionate about as well. So yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, nice.
And the thing is, back to telling stories like this without dialogue, the way I approach panels and my storytelling, I treat it like a silent movie. What's great about great about silent films is that the actors had to really accentuate with their faces and body motions what they're expressing, what's going on. So when I put in my dialogue, I put in the facial expressions, like the driver has a raised eyebrow of curiosity of what's going on. That way it clearly distinguishes, oh, he's in thought, what's going on right now. And in this book, you don't have any of that in here. I don't know what any of these characters are expressing.
No.
There is no emotion.
And the movements weren't exaggerated enough to allow me to understand where she was in time and space. It just felt off. So, but I mean, I think it's fair that we at least see what Rock and Robbie had to say about it, because I am genuinely curious to hear his thought.
Well, I could assume by his gay fingers and facial expression that only wonderfulness is going to come out of his mouth.
Well, you've really designed your whole persona off of his channel, Kyle. So I can only imagine that this is just more video evidence for you to just, indulge in. So
soaking it all in.
Soaking it all in, baby. Marvel Star Wars fanatic, dude, great to see you again. Thank you so much for being here, but have a great night, brother, and have a great weekend. We'll catch you soon. Jack Frost says, the comic Age of Reptiles had no text whatever in its entire run. A friend of mine loved it because her son would make up the story of what the dinosaurs were doing and saying. That's fun. I like that. That's cool. That also just speaks to the imagination and creativity of a child, and how cool that is. But comic Age of Reptiles, I'm going to have to check that out.
I forgot. And another example similar to that is the Tyrant dinosaur series that Stephen Bissett did. There's no dialogue in it. There's some caption boxes, but it shows the life of a dinosaur, pretty much.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Good deal. All right. Well, then I'm gonna have to get on and they're easy to read because they're really quick. So I'll read them all tonight. But before I do, let's see what Poppin' Polly says.
Jesus.
Start with the pick of the week, and this week's pick of the week is G.I. Joe.
Fuck you.
Real American Hero, Silent Mission.
You don't like his singing, Kyle?
I don't like anything about this piece of shit, but no, not that.
Well, I'm genuinely curious to hear what you guys think about what he says, in his review for this issue. Because Drew, keep in mind, you said that you had a hard time understanding the sequential storytelling because of the artwork.
Yes.
So keep in mind that is a genuine criticism and concern that you've had. Let's hear what he has to say.
Jinx issue number 1. Now this is written and illustrated by Danny with co-writing by Dan Waters and coloring by Brad Simpson. No lettering, not really, because it's a silent issue. So G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, they're basically doing a series of weekly one-shots to homage the classic G.I. Joe number 21 by Larry Hama and company. That was a silent issue. An issue with no dialogue. Now, let's be honest, all comic books are technically silent, though there are some exceptions to that rule. The Godzilla, King Kong, Justice League book that had the sound effect.
Clearly, he's never read a James Tiny Onion comic because, holy shit, you want to talk about purple prose? He's got it in spades.
Well, yeah, James Tiny Onion and Tom King, definitely.
Yes,
wax poetic.
And Chris Claremont.
Sometimes, yeah. Chris can be a lot sometimes, for sure.
Yep.
But he's about to talk about, I guess, comics that have like actual noise in them. And I guess there was like a gimmick book where, those birthday cards that and they open up when you like, I guess they did that with a comic book.
Genius.
So he's like, yeah, so those are technically not silent issues, but comics are silent issues. And I was like, oh, okay.
God damn it.
Where are we going with this?
Thanks, Eric. July semantics.
Yeah, no, that's some hibbity right there, if I've ever heard of jibbity. So,
like a Hallmark card. There's some Transformers and Void Rivals reprints that are coming out like that. But G.I. Joe, Real American Hero, Silent Missions, Jinx is a master class in graphic storytelling. This is how it's done.
This is how it's done, Drew.
If he had said, if I were next to him in a room and I heard him say that, I would have laughed out loud like I just had. I'd been like, you are full of shit. Because there is no way, it is nowhere close to a master class. Master class in learning disability and how not to do it. This is piss poor. When you say this is the master class, you are comparing it to G.I. Joe 21, what Larry Hama had done. And this is a slap in the face to what Larry Hama had done. Shame on Rob. He is full of bullshit saying that. And he is slapping Larry Hama in the face saying that.
Yeah. I don't know why he would necessarily want to shill for this one when there are plenty of other DC books and Marvel books he could shill for, but I guess he chose this one.
Welcome to Smallville.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Which, he loved that one too, but.
He was sequential storytelling by a master, Danny. Now, Danny is an exceptional artist.
Sorry, I got to go back. We got to catch that again.
Is a master class in graphic storytelling. This is how it's done. Sequential storytelling by a master, Danny. Now, Danny is an exceptional artist, and she is really putting in the work here to tell the story visually. Now, you also have Dan Waters, who is the co-writer, and I love the whole setup of this issue. The setup of the issue is this. Jinx is infiltrating a Cobra base. She's got a bomb. She times it for 20 seconds. She's got 20 seconds to get out, right? And each page is a second in real time.
But
absolutely
you can't tell what the fuck is happening.
Pretty much flawless storytelling. Amazing color.
The devil is in the details, Robbie. And Danny sucks at details, Robbie. This is a piss poor storyteller. This is a half-assed Frank Miller right here. This comic is shit. Your opinion is shit. It's null and void. God damn it. Oh,
it was no bueno, but I got a big laugh out of him being like, this is what sequential storytelling looks like. I was like, really, a masterclass in sequential art. Okay. All right.
Clearly the comic shop he works for over purchased that comic. So now he's like, please God, buy this off of us.
Dude, that's what it was. Because it was racking my brain. Why in the world would he want to shill for this G.I. Joe book when it does nothing for the channel? But it's going to do something for the comic shop.
Yep. It has
I
to.
don't-
Please buy
I'll
this.
do it. Please clap. Now, the next one he pulled up, I mean, I didn't get to read this book this week, but my God, it's hilarious. So let's see what he pulls up next.
The week. Also from Image, we have Golden Rage, Mother Knows Best, issue number 1. So I picked this up and I read it and I was like, wait a second. I feel like I've read this story before. Is this the second volume of something? And it is, in fact. Like, I remember reading Golden Rage now, but I don't know if I ever actually finished it. But the basic premise of Golden Rage is this.
He's like, I remember reading it, but I don't think I finished it. But I don't know.
So you don't
Who
remember
knows?
reading it, but all right, good job.
If I were just that bored and wanted to kill some brain cells, I would go back in his archives to find him reviewing and it's fluffing how good Golden Rage Volume 1 was. But I'm not that bored and not that interested in doing that.
But I do remember Golden Rage being forgettable. Like I don't remember it being as atrocious as a Fire and Ice, but I do remember it being like, this is abysmally just dull and boring and lame and bad. But I think he says something to the effect of like, I remember liking it, but I don't remember finishing it. And I was like, that means you didn't like it then. If you don't remember finishing the series, I don't know.
Not to him.
When women
yeah.
Well,
hit a
speak
certain
for yourself,
point.
but he's selling me on getting this book, so you know.
Ooh, all right. Well, let's see what else he has to say about it. Yeah, I think he says it's Golden Girls meets like something I forget.
They're no longer able to bear children, for instance. They get sent to this island to live out their lives in a no man's land, escape from New York type scenario, right? And I don't know if I ever read the original one all the way through, but when I was reading this, I was completely captivated and enthralled and engaged yet again. It was a really cool story.
Yet again. So it's like, wait, if you were enthralled and engaged in the first one, I feel like you'd remember, no?
Yeah, I think you would remember.
And you would finish it. Yeah.
Right.
and yeah, you would finish it.
You'd remember,
No.
plot points or, characters from the first arc, you fucking idiot.
If I'm enthralled by a comic series, I'm finishing that. Like,
Right.
Yeah. I'm like waiting for each issue to come out, but oh well.
A really interesting take on this concept. And yeah, honestly, I don't know if I ever finished Golden Rage, but this was pretty good. The coloring was really good. The coloring is by Sophie Dotchin and Shane Hannah Kuwei. Lauren Knight on the artwork there. I liked the book. I thought it was good. I thought it was solid, and maybe I need to go back and check it out and see if I actually finished Golden Rage. Imagine the Golden Girls meets Battle Royale. That's kind of what the premise of the book is, but this is picking up after that initial concept, and it's elevating its own concept in an exceptional fashion. All right, also from Image, we
That was the most gibberish non-answer. What the fuck are you saying?
Wow. Elevating its concept farther than its original concept. Look at that.
My God. Oh, Jesus.
Now, Drew, you read Golden Rage this week. Was it any good?
No, it was not. It is terrible. The most unlikable women on the planet you're following on this island, and they're uninteresting. You just don't care what happens to them. Honestly, halfway through, I'm just like, well, you people just die? You guys are just miserable. You're all miserable people. And one of them, I compare them to Mongo from Blazing Saddles, because that's just like how they talk. They're just like, Mongo only pawn in Game of Life. It's just that big burly girl, and she finds a baby. We got big small problem here. It's like, what does one of you have both sexual organs? One of you got the other one pregnant? What the hell happened here? The art is terrible. The story is terrible. The characters are terrible. This is a terrible comic, and the fact that Image is producing a volume 2, it makes me cringe, and only gives me more gray hairs being concerned about this for the future.
I just don't. I don't get it. I don't get why it's even being made.
No, it's just like Fire and Ice. You are creating a comic book that you're selling to your friends and maybe 100 other people. Congratulations.
Well, yeah, no, that's a good point. It's just to you, and then your sycophants that you just the people who are your friends that will just suck you off and just tell you how great you are. So, lastly, this is the last one I watched because I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore. We'll hear what his other book was that I was flabbergasted by. But before we do that, we've got Steph, my nerdy home, in the chat. She says, hi. Hi.
Hi.
Hi. Love you, Steph. Hope you're having a great weekend so far. So let's see what Robbie's next book is.
For the second print, by Filia Bertukin, who worked with Dennis Camp on the book Agent of World. That's an amazing cover, and guess what? It gets the cover of the week, so there you go. Jumping over to DC, we got Fire and Ice, When Hell Freezes Over, issue number 1. So this is a follow-up to Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville, where the Justice League International characters of Fire and Ice, they wound up in Smallville, operating a hair salon. It was cute, it was charming, it was interesting, and I read the...
It was none of those things.
It was interesting. It was interesting.
It was charming. Charming's the one that got me. I was like, it's anything but charming. It made me want to pull my hair out.
Oh my god!
You know, if that book has proven anything, it's that we need to lean back really heavily into conversion therapy and just call it a day.
And it really,
I thought you were going to say shaming, but I mean,
well, it tells me, okay, Robbie, I clearly you cannot read, and I'm sorry. I feel sorry for you. You need to learn to read.
Oh, don't. I mean, I think he can read because he's had some good takes.
If he could,
he's had some random good takes before.
If he could read, and okay, if he could think critically, and he may be able to read, but this understanding and breaking down what he's reading, thinking critically about what he's reading, he would realize this comic is a piece of shit. But he cannot think critically.
Maybe that's what it is, because he can read. So let's see. He's already mentioned the first series was charming, interesting, and something I forget. But yeah,
the whole series. So when this came out, I was like, you know what? I don't know if I really want to read this one again. Like, I get it. It was charming. It was cute. It was engaging. But do I really need to get back to this book and tell a different story with a different creative team? And honestly, yes. I'm all for it.
Do I really need to read this book? Honestly, yes, I do. I'm all for it.
Oh my god.
No, nothing's changed. Okay.
Stephen Byrne's artwork is okay. I wish it could be something a little bit more dynamic, a little bit more sexy, but the art gets the job done. But the story, the characters, that's where this book excels, right?
Whoa, where it excels.
Hey, there are no characters. What are you talking about? There's no story.
There is no story. There are no characters. God.
It's just a series of it's just just different montages of coincidences happening. That's it.
And then this happens, and then this happens, and then this happens. And the first series was guilty of this even more so. Like the first series was down bad about that. But no, the characters are caricatures. They aren't actual characters. They are just cutesy wootsy stereotype of my girlsy whirlsies.
You know
what? The worst thing ever.
Now, Max, I'm gonna challenge Robbie here. So he's calling that, arguably, a great comic book. That's what he's calling that. He called the Silent Issue a great comic book. Now, I would challenge Robbie on this book I have here. It's a trade paperback collection that just came out this week. Now, Robbie is the type of dickhead who would probably say, oh, that's a 90s comic. That was a piece of shit. It was a Spawn book back in the day. It's the Violator miniseries from Alan Moore and Bart Sears on the art. Now, this is a masterpiece compared to everything that fat asshole said is amazing. All right.
Oh my god.
This is amazing. I am not kidding. I mean, if no one has actually read any of the Alan Moore work that he did for Image, any of the Spawn, Supreme, Wildcat stuff he did, Promethea, Tom Strong, all of that blows this shit and this dickhead's books out of the water because he has no taste. And I know he has called the 90s books shit. He's called Image 90s books shit. So he could take his fire and ice and shove it up his ass. That's all I gotta say.
Wow, coming out hot.
I'm pissed.
Coming out with that fire.
I'm laughing at what he's saying, but I am pissed what he's saying.
Yeah.
Because the only thing he is doing, he is perpetuating more bullshit to be coming out. He is saying, yes, we want more of this shit because I like this shit. It's like, no, God. Oh.
It does, yeah. It does definitely, like, when the standards are lowered to where you're just like, Fire and Ice is cute and it's whatever. It just, like you said, it perpetuates more of just the fan that's really not looking for anything good. They're just accepting slop. So let's see what else he has to say.
So as a result of the absolute power shenanigans, Fire and Ice have had their powers swapped, and they're dealing with the idea of being disgraced heroes is the wrong word, but kind of almost like forgotten about or disrespected heroes. They're dealing with that with this new life that they've created and carved out for themselves while switching their powers. Really interesting dynamics being played with here with the characterization and the personality of these characters. I thought this book was cute, charming, and fun, and very, very interesting and introspective at the same time.
Oh my God.
Oh, introspective.
Someone
What
run
book was
over
he
this
reading?
pussy, please.
Jesus.
Wow.
Oh my God.
That's
Oh,
high praise. Introspective. Wow.
oh, I
Man,
miss.
what do you think?
I miss these watch parties of Robbie's takes. Oh my God.
What do you
Oh,
think really got him to think introspectively? Was it the black girl magic? Was it the hashtag Black Lives Matter?
I'll take all of the above faggotry for 600, Alex.
Okay, very well. Let's check the board. Or no, that's Family Feud.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun. Name one book that Rock and Robbie likes. Give me Fire and Ice. Bing, bing,
Number
bing,
one
bing.
answer.
Bing.
Well, I since we got to do it, we got to review it at some point. We did not have this online, unfortunately, but we did get a review copy, and we got to talk. We got to discuss Vatican City. Now, normally, I would say Mark Millar can do no wrong because he's produced some of my favorite books of all time. Nemesis, which is just peak villain arcs. You've got what was the King of Spies, which is like if you wanted to make a perfect James Bond film now,
Old Man
Bond,
Yeah.
it's a perfect iteration of that. Like Mark Millar has done some incredible things for Marvel and DC back in some of their it was back in some of the eras when they were at their most popular, even so much so that the Ultimates version of the Marvel characters in the Avengers is pretty much what Disney Marvel banked off of when they were writing their stories and stuff. So with Vatican City, though, I don't know. I think it's more so attributed to the art that I was not able to fully get into it. But what did you guys
think? I want to talk about this first real quick. Sorry. Yes, the art is part of the problem, but I think the other part of the problem is that Mark, just like what Jonathan Hickman did with the Aliens versus Marvel story, he fast forwarded over the interesting part and focused on the boring part. Like I wanted to, we really should have seen the downfall of the United States and everything at once. He fast forwarded through that in 2 pages. And it's like no. I want to see the systematic dismantling of everything so quickly. I want to see that the whole issue should have been dedicated to that. But he fast forwarded through that in 2 pages, and we just get almost 10, 12 pages of just dialogue of this dipshit saying like, "Oh, yep, I'm signing up for the Royal Guard today. Oh, we don't have you on the schedule today." It's just like, okay, I couldn't care less. And then, like you said, the art by Narwhal, it doesn't help because it's not clear. I'm like, wait a minute, are those the vampires? Are those good guys? I don't know who the hell is who's who. And like there are points there are cops who are dressed up as vampires in this. I'm like, wait a minute, are those the vampires or are those damn cops? I don't know what the hell's going on. And it's another example here of art not clearly telling the story.
Yeah. And I think that was where I was having difficulty with the sequential storytelling of the, like, I just couldn't tell where they were at in space. They were just, oh yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, it's not even a sequential storytelling issue. It's just you can look at a single panel and there are times like, I don't know where the body is.
Yeah.
Like there's one page of a vampire drinking from another person. And it's like, I don't know where their body is in the context of like,
where it starts and where it ends.
Yeah. And so much of the art is like this. Or it just looks like an elementary kid drew it because it's like, it's sloppy. There's no crisp line work here. Your backgrounds are all just muddy mix. And then you got.
And you know what the sad thing is, Josh? Like Richard Meyer, a few years ago, he proclaimed Narwhal as like the greatest artist in comics, and that's not hyperbole. That is not. He said this guy is amazing and he's a future. He's like the biggest superstar on the planet no one's talking about. And it's one of those things where you see it and you're like, dude, you're just like Ed Piskor and Jim Rugg on Cartoonist Kayfabe talking about these obscure artists who are clearly not that good. And this art is not that good.
Yeah, and it's not like, I don't know. I would still probably prefer reading or looking at this art to something like, a Fire and Ice, but it has a distinct style. I'll say that. Like, it is a distinct style, and it is a unique trait that only Narwhal has. I want to say that it is unique to him. It's kind of like whenever Shane Connery Volk came on the scene. That first issue of Nottingham is rough. It's rough, but you can definitely see that it's Shane Connery Volk. Like, he's got his own twist and style, right? And I think Narwhal has that as well. But gosh dang, like you said, Josh, it's muddy, it's dirty, it's not well defined, and it makes you, like, the whole time I was reading it, I was just like, what? So I'd have to look closer. I'd try and discern or decipher where things were or what was going on. But yeah, there are a lot of images that are just elementary. Like, faces are really underdeveloped, bodies are really underdeveloped. It just feels like unfinished. Feels like a rough draft.
And on top of that, the heroes just aren't that interesting. Not gonna lie, I mean, the heroes we're supposed to be rooting for, I don't have a feel for. The vampires, I'm like, okay, I understand what they're doing, but I'm just like, I have no attachment to any of these characters. I got no one I really care for.
Right.
No one stands out.
That's a good point. Well, I know we're supposed to root for the one guy who's trying to sign up for the Pope's like guard or whatever, or the Vatican guard, but you just don't get a lot of time with him. And so you don't get to develop that relationship to allow him to be our protagonist. Whereas, like we really don't get all that much time with the vampires either. We find out what their purpose is, but there just seems to be a lot lacking. So I don't know. This was rough. I left unimpressed, and that's never a feeling I like to read or feel whenever I'm reading something Mark Millar does. So.
Yeah, this is clearly the weakest comic he has produced since probably Huck, and that's going back to like 2015. I think.
Man, I don't think I even read that one. Yeah,
it's okay. It's not great.
Well,
it's like the premise is, what if Simple Jack was Superman? So.
Oh no. What does he say about like something about his tears or when he's crying? Simple Jack. I forget what the line is, but oh well. All right. Well, I know we read a ton more comics tonight, but unfortunately, I'm looking at the time and I just realized how late it was. And
I will say, if anyone does want to read a couple great comic books this week, some couple good ones, that Batman Dark Patterns, really damn good. That is the standout, of the Batman books. You disagree?
I gave up on it after, what was it, issue 3?
No. It's a different story.
It's gotten better.
It's a completely different storyline. Completely different.
Okay. All right. Maybe I'll hop back.
You would love this. Max, if you did not read the previous issue, you would love this. It is
But
awesome.
I did say that in issue 1 as well. I said that for issue 1 and issue 2, and then I read issue 3 and I was like, nope, I'm out.
No, different villain, different characters, different story. That Needles guy is gone. None of that's here. Okay. Yeah, it is awesome.
Max is just the enemy of fun.
Clearly,
it's true.
And Transformers. Transformers is really damn good.
Yeah. You didn't like Absolute Buttman?
Me?
No, I thought Drew was gonna recommend Absolute Buttman.
Absolute overweight Asian Batman. No.
Yeah. That art was bad too. Pull it up. We have time.
Or at least Aquaman.
Aquaman is another great one this week. I did enjoy Aquaman. Yeah.
Okay. But guys, we have a new creative team on Amazing Spider-Man.
Whoa! Wait, did you read it?
Yeah, it's awful. It feels like a chore. Like the first 5 pages, I felt like I spent 20 minutes reading the first 5 pages.
And it's just Peter going on interviews.
Yeah. I'm just like,
and there are people laughing at him. Boss is yelling him out of the office. It's just like, sir, this is what we're doing right now. And Peter's now 20 years old, or he doesn't. It's like how old is he supposed to be?
I don't know. Because they're talking about his like college experience plus what he started his own company and then all these other companies he's worked for. And
now the Spider-Man art was good. I like the art.
I thought it was okay.
Okay, that's fair. Like when you get the double splash page of all the villains there, and he's like his Spidey senses are going nuts.
Yeah,
I thought the art was cool.
I thought the Spider-Man stuff was fine. I didn't like the Peter Parker stuff. Because they kept showing that derpy face Peter was making, and all I kept thinking was, God, this reminds me of Dylan Mulvaney before he tried to pretend being a girl.
Oh, I could see that in that derp face, yeah.
Yeah. Like you gotta just Google Dylan Mulvaney boy. And you'll probably
Wait, are you saying that he's not a woman?
No. He's not.
Well, that's unfortunate. I wish I would have known that.
Hold on. I'm literally sending you a link of where'd it go?
Oh no, I don't need to see that. Oh wait, it's not. Here, let's see if we can beep boop pop this one.
Beep boop beep boop boop.
God damn.
Is this what you're talking about, Josh?
Hold on. I'm on a different. Yep. Literally makes me think.
Yep.
Boy, Dylan Mulvaney.
That'll do it.
Got that smile just like him.
Yeah. But I tell you what, whenever it gets to the Spidey stuff, it's cool. The art is good.
I hated this scene too.
Oh yeah, this is frustrating as well.
Yeah, because Aunt May says something like, go back, what does it say?
Fringe benefits to being unemployed, Aunt May. I get to hang with my favorite lady. With clever wordplay like that, I can't imagine why you've been bombing.
Here's the thing with Peter Parker at this point. Is he dumb or is he smart? Because he's supposed to be this really smart guy. I understand that. He's a scientist. But at the same time, they're writing him like he's making all these stupid goddamn mistakes over and over and over and over and over again. Like he never learns from his problems. So it's like, is he smart or is he an idiot? I don't understand. You can't have both. You can't. It's one or the other.
Our good friend Aaron Sparrow in the chat says, "I fucking hate it." He says the ASM art was awful. Ooh, all right, interesting. Go to the "we're not exclusive" pages. All right.
Oh yeah. I hated the uncultured. So Aunt May calls Peter uncultured swine, and I was like, no, like 60 or 70-year-old lady's gonna say that. Come on.
Wait, but
like I thought this looked good. I thought.
Yeah, I was about to say. I think this looks good, right? But yeah, like Spidey kicking Rhino's face, like that's rad. That looks good. But yes, we're not exclusive, like, you know, that was cringe as hell.
And it's weird too,
this
because they're like,
God,
no, I don't want that in my Spider-Man.
Yeah,
I'm having so much fun.
Oh my god,
I love this city so much.
Where did all of my wine go? Oh my god. That bitch Kyle drank my wine.
Kyle would drink your wine, and then it'd be all over his lips, and he'd be like, I don't know what you're talking about.
I don't drink wine.
No. It's
We're
so
not
messy.
We're not exclusive.
That's right.
There's no boyfriend and girlfriends. No one gets married. What are you talking about? That's old fashioned. There's no families. We're families. That's an old white people thing.
Yeah, no, Aaron says, be happy being cucked. Yeah. But, yeah, no, I remember Kyle likes the Long Islands. That's your drink of choice. I forgot about that.
They're pretty good.
Yep. Like, I do want to point out, I don't even fully understand what they're saying. Oh, no, go back.
Oh, sorry.
Go back.
Sorry. Yes.
I don't even fully know what they're saying. Go back a page. Go up a page.
So, Josh, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, right here. You're right.
I completely skipped all this shit. I'm like, I do not care. I don't give jack and shit about this dialogue.
Yeah, just for context, scroll down just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then, so you've got, you know, what you were just reading with the voice, the Shay, you two are not brother and sister, boyfriend and girlfriend. And he's like, yeah, I mean, and she goes, we're not exclusive. And then Peter's like, we're not. And she's like, you're still on probation. And then he's like, that's better than, is that good? And then she's like, depends on you, Parker. Then you got black dude here that check. Please God, check. And he's like, to probation. And she's like, amen, brother. Like, what the fuck are we even saying?
Well, not like I said, this goes back to what I said earlier. How old is Peter Parker? 1, 2, how smart and or dumb is Peter Parker at this point? Because he's written like a fucking idiot. And at the same point, like I said, he's supposed to be the super smart, intelligent guy. But no, he's written like he's a fucking dipshit in high school. Like, which one is it, Joe Kelly? Is he smart or is he a fucking idiot?
I think this is really written by Colin Kelly, and they knew it wasn't going to sell, so they accidentally misprinted Joe Kelly, and they were like, Joe, can you just do some interviews and say it was you, please?
If this were Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly, this would be far worse. Far worse.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah.
He'd be wearing his "Ask Me About My Feminist Agenda" shirt right here at this party.
Yes, yeah. But you're right, Josh. In terms of a storytelling, in terms of just storytelling in general, for him to say that's better, like, is he saying, "Oh, that's better than us not being exclusive"? So, like, me being on probation is better.
Not
than
even
being...
doesn't make
not
sense.
Even. Yeah, I was gonna say not even storytelling, just like language, just conversation.
Yeah,
I don't know what this means.
I think that's Josh. I think Joe is trying to be. He's trying to be funny, and it's coming across as dog shit. And Peter is just written like a fucking idiot, and it's offensively stupid. I'm not even a Peter Parker fan. I hate Spider-Man, and this is pissing me off as a non-fan. I would love to like Spider-Man. I don't. This is terrible.
I didn't know that you didn't like Peter Parker. Okay, or Spider-Man.
He's not in my top 10, 20, 30 characters I like. He's not even up there. But I want to, but writers like Joe Kelly here aren't helping. Because, like I said, is he smart or is he an idiot? Because you can't have both.
He's also had such a long stint of bad comics. I mean, we're talking 20 years at this point, that we just haven't seen him as he should be. Aaron says, nobody fucking talks like this. This was also really confusing for me. So this bully from high school, he's talking to Peter and he gets Peter a job. And he says, who gives a bunch of genius 6th graders access to the chemical closet? And Peter says, did he though? And I had to reread this bubble like 5 times because he says, history and a lock I could pick with the guts of a mechanical pencil say yes. And then I was like, wait, what? And like when you first read it, I didn't get it, but he's like, history and a lock I could pick say yes. That's what he is saying. But he says a lock I could pick with the guts of a mechanical pencil say yeah. And I'm like, okay. It's dialogue for dialogue's sake to be funny, but it's not funny. I don't know. So yeah, I just the dialogue was very off on this, but other than that, like the action scenes and the art there, I didn't mind. But maybe I've been reading too much Rippaverse.
How much better would it have been if it had been Danny Rand we're talking with here? How much more fun would it have been?
So that's what I was going to say. We're at Rand Enterprises and you're not going to even give us Danny Rand. So just give us Danny Rand. Like, come on, man.
That'd be cool. Well, I know that we would just absolutely love to see Absolute Buttman. But I want to be respectful of y'all's time, and I also do have work tomorrow morning, so I have to be respectful of my own time, unfortunately. So, with that being said,
gay.
I know, gay, late and gay, or Max early and gay.
Max is like, it's 10 o'clock. I gotta go to bed, guys.
Actually, guys, it's 10:01 here in
it's 10:01.
So,
you guys don't understand.
Guys, I've had like 3 Pellegrinos. I think it's time for me to kick in for the night. So
my pinky's tired of being up.
Yeah. I just need the other sparkling water. And then I'll really be pimping. So
all right,
my skin will look great.
What are we talking about? Sparkling what?
Yeah, the blue sparkling water. The one that all the influencers are drinking and using
Saratoga.
For their face. Saratoga, thank you.
We drink real sparkling water. It's called Topo Chico.
Ugh. It's like
you don't
spicy.
like Topo Chico? Yeah.
No, it's too bubbly. No.
It's real minerals instead of like. Yeah.
This is straight from Italia. So I'd prefer that than like Mexican minerals.
What about Perrier?
Perrier? I don't think I've really had it.
It's disgusting. It's like drinking flat Sprite.
That's essentially what he's drinking there too. So
no.
Yeah.
Jack Frost coming in and saying Spider-Man is one of the best designed superhero characters in comics.
Sure.
I think so, and I think his legacy just speaks for itself. What's fascinating to me though is that I never grew up a Spider-Man kid, and I've never been a Spider-Man guy, and yet seeing how much money the character pulls consistently and how much more popular he is than Spider-Man and Batman, like I'm flabbergasted. I will
Superman
never understand.
Superman and Batman?
Oh, what did I say? Spider-Man
and Batman.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Superman and Batman. Yeah. I'll never understand it. But it's very interesting. So, yeah. All right. Well, before we head out, you guys got anything going on or anything y'all want to share? I'll go this way, Josh.
Yeah, go to your local poor person store and get you some fiddle faddle. You can pay for it, so you can drop $1 like 29, or you can just walk out with it. Whatever you want.
Just steal it, man. $1.49. Man, I paid that Augment Monster $3.50.
Tree fitty.
Tree fitty. I pay for that fiddle faddle for tree fitty. Heavy D, you got anything going on or anything you want to share before we head out?
Yeah, I was hoping we could share the cover one last time from Aurelio.
Sure. Let me see if I can grab that.
So Aaron, if you're still in the chat, I shared the cover that Aurelio just finished, the inks. That's being colored right now. Aurelio Mazzaro's cover, homage to Love and Rockets #1 for Unholy Nightmare #2. We're finishing up the page sign-up page right now, so we're gonna have the sign-up page ready to go hopefully sometime soon to be sent out for everyone to sign up for. So be on the lookout for that. And there we are. There she is.
There she is in all her glory in pencil and ink. Look at that.
And will be available on the campaign to buy the original art.
Hell yeah. Nice, man. Sounds good. Keel, I'm sorry, I don't mean to wake you from your slumber. Especially since you don't have your kid with you. You're probably like, finally, peace. Silence. But yeah, man, anything you got going on or anything you want to share before we head out?
No, I'm at C2E2. Covers and stuff are selling well. I'm going to be on Whatnot doing a sale tomorrow at like 10 a.m. here, Chicago time. So, yeah, if you get a chance, hop in, say hi. If you can, back the covers, Voodon's cover, Tony Cordo's cover. We got spot foils, we got metals, very limited. So, no, they've been selling well at C2E2.
Oh, good deal, man. That's great to hear. And if you guys can't make it to C2E2 like myself, you can also find them here as I'm sharing the Seeds of Evil #1 Ashcan Voodon Hatchet variant, limited to 100. And yeah, you can get it signed or unsigned. If you want it raw, if you want Kyle to give it to you raw, he will give it to you raw. And it's cheaper, actually. So
and better.
So if I understand correctly, tomorrow, 10 a.m. Chicago time, Kyle will be prostituting himself and giving it raw.
That's
Correct,
what I
Mundo.
Yeah.
That's what I got. I'm gonna come into your Whatnot stream and I'm just gonna bid on stuff and then drop out at the last second.
You better not.
Or I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna drop N-words in the chat and then see what happens.
Very cool.
Me too. I'm gonna be saying it. I'll probably say it before you.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, well, it'll be great. We'll all be saying it in the live stream. It'll be
hell
wonderful.
yeah.
So, well, cool. Thank you guys again for hanging out tonight. This was a bunch of fun, total blast. And yeah, I'm excited for next week as well, because that means that I don't have to talk about Daredevil season 1 from Disney ever again after next week, and that's something I'm really excited about. So.
I mean, it's season 2's coming out next year.
Yeah, it doesn't interest me. So
we'll see.
Sorry, you're not gonna get me to watch. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. Because then season 2 is gonna come out, and everyone's gonna be like, "But just wait," because they have to tie the loose ends from last season. But then by tying the loose ends, they'll also have to create their new storyline. So it's gonna take a little bit, and I'm gonna be like, "No, I'm out. So, but we'll see. The black costume does look cool, so
yeah,
maybe we'll get some cool clips, but we'll go from there. And it's nice to have Fire and Ice back. Wouldn't be a true comic book stream without reviewing Fire and Ice.
Speak for yourself.
You
know what? You can't. No. Here's the thing. You can't bitch about freaking Daredevil Born Again when we're reading that shit.
Fire and Ice takes maybe 15 minutes of your time if you read all of it. And some
but
of
it
us
makes
don't
you
even
want
read.
to Kurt Cobain yourself. And no, it takes more than that, because you spend 45 minutes being like, "What the fuck, man? Why?"
You put it down and you're like, "Oh, okay, I'm gonna come back to this later."
Try to psych yourself up.
Yeah.
Read a few pages. You feel like your dick's turned into a vagina. You have to put it down again.
Yeah.
Even I go like stare at boobs that I see around wherever I can find them to try to
You
feel
should-
some. Yeah,
Something. You got to bring yourself
Something.
back to factory settings.
that's right.
I mean, that's how I felt after the Leroy Jenkins episode.
Yeah, I mean,
Thankfully, the only thing that was in that episode was Frank. So, but
Mhm.
even still, that was rough.
Yeah.
But, well, it is. Yeah. Aaron says Joanne Starr is all 4 Horsemen of Comics apocalypse. Death,
Pestilence, war,
famine, pestilence, and what was it? War?
Yeah.
Yeah. There you go. Nailed it. Good deal, Aaron. Thank you. Well, it is a pleasure to have everyone here tonight once again. Thank you guys for supporting the show. Thanks for being here tonight. It's always fun to hang with you guys, and please let us know your thoughts on the Daredevil show, because this truly was the first episode that we got that was like what we're most likely going to be getting from the new creative team. But I'd love to hear your thoughts. Also, what did you guys think about the creative conversation we had at the beginning of the show about Eric July and, accepting criticism or receiving criticism from art or from other artists? That whole thing just was wild to me. So I'd love to get your thoughts in the comments. And also, what other comics are you guys reading that we may have missed this week? Let us know as well, because we always love hearing from y'all. Other than that, it's been a great show, and we'll see y'all next week. Have a wonderful evening, everyone, and have a great weekend.